This episode is brought to you by Midwest Night Watchers, found everywhere on your favorite podcast platforms.
Hi, everybody. Oh, look at this. We're backwards.
Yeah, what am I doing over on that side?
I don't know. Welcome to the Night Owl Lounge, everyone.
Now we're in our normal spots.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you have to have that one side of the bed, too. You have to have that one side of the screen.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just used to being on this side when I'm looking at the screen, I guess.
You know I have control. I could switch it back.
Yeah, well. So there. Now who has control?
No, I don't like that either. How's that? Now, why do we have that round feature, or why don't we have the round feature like everybody else?
We do.
Oh, we do? Oh. But then you probably wouldn't see our background. Welcome in, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Tammy. I see Cisco.
Cisco.
Cisco's giving us bacon.
Nice.
Yeah. And Clay is in the house. I already said Tammy. We got Amber. Ted might still be in here, but he's in the UK. He said he had to go.
Got Roger.
Blazer. Roger. Jason Finch. Welcome in, guys.
Did you say Amber? Amber was in earlier.
Yep. So Amber. There's Daryl. Musical chairs to start with. Gemini is here. Robin M.
All right.
Now, Robin, since you're in here, on Rumble, are you Lady in the Lake?
No.
Crystal J, too, and Latro. There's Lady in the Lake over on Rumble, and quite a while ago they said who they were, and I don't remember who they were, and I think it might be Robin. Or is it Tammy? Maybe it's Robin. Hi, Crystal. Nice to see you.
Say hi to Latro.
Yep, Latro from Texas. All right, it is Robin. Okay, all right. All right, so now I'll know. I'll call you Robin instead of Lady. Because we were trying to think, who is that? Who is that? They told us one time. And then I was thinking,
I don't know if anybody's over there or not, but we are live on Rumble. We're going to start going live on Piercing the Veil and our creepy movie nights and on our Night Owl Lounge.
Creepy movie night.
So we're slowly getting people on Rumble. We got like 76 now, I think, that are on Rumble with us. But I don't know if anybody is really tuning into our lives or watching later or what they're doing.
You never know on Rumble. But yeah, that was fun last Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All 3 nights we were over there watching Lost in Space.
We did 4 nights, didn't we? Didn't we do Sunday too? Because we didn't have a show.
Oh, that's right. Or did we? Did we go on Sunday night too?
I think so.
Oh, maybe it was 4 nights. But we've been doing Lost in Space and Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, And what are some of the movies we played?
Silent Running. We did The Blob.
The Blob was really interesting. Now that one was really old. Like I said, Outer Limits, I don't recall watching that when I was a kid. Lost in Space, yeah. We definitely watched Lost in Space when I was a kid.
We got One Step Beyond. We played Alfred Hitchcock. We did the one with Steve McQueen because we did The Blob, which Steve McQueen was in. So I tied the two together.
Clay said he fell asleep to The Blob. Welcome in, Dragonfly. He fell asleep to The Blob. How can you fall asleep watching The Blob?
I don't know. The Blob will get you if you fall asleep.
But, well, so far we haven't gotten in trouble over on Rumble.
No, they say they're more relaxed. It's not that you won't get in trouble, but they're just not fast at doing it. And they usually don't do anything about free speech. You have free speech there, but as far as copyright material, they may say something to you, they may not. So I don't know. We'll just keep doing it till they say, hey, quit.
Yeah. We'll just keep doing it until they remove it and say, no.
But I think, we're not showing new stuff. It's all old stuff, 50s and 60s. And so I think it should be allowed, but, maybe somebody owns the rights to them. I don't know. As far as my internet goes, it doesn't seem like anybody owns them.
Oh, my. The Birds. I don't remember The Birds. There's an old black and white called The Birds.
Alfred Hitchcock's where the birds attacked everybody.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite movies.
Is that on your list?
Yep. I got a big list. All the movies I used to stay up and watch when growing up on Creature Feature or the Midnight Madness, I think it was called. And then later on, TBS, when they started doing the music stuff like MTV, they had Night Flight. Well, then right after Night Flight, they also had monster movies.
I do kind of remember Night Flight. Wow.
So growing up, I had 3 different sources where I was able to watch like The Hand, the hand that would crawl out and get you, and Wax Museum, and Phantom of the Opera, and Tarantula, and War of the Worlds. And
hello. There's got a deer walking up to the garden.
Yep, I see that.
Now he's going to be out of the camera.
Yeah, Ben. When I was young, my brother and his first wife, for whatever reason, took me to an afternoon matinee in Peoria, Illinois. I was little. And guess what was playing?
What?
I don't think it was Ben. I think it was Willard, which is the same storyline where the guy had a trained rat.
Oh, the rat movie?
Yeah. So I was young. I mean, I was little, and they for whatever reason they took. I don't know if it was something that they couldn't go unless they took me with, but they took me to that movie.
Dwarfy's in the house.
Hey, Bigfoot dwarf.
We got a dwarf. Yeah, I remember all the old Godzilla movies when we were little.
Yeah, we used to watch them all the time.
Yeah.
Mothra and Rodan, Godzilla, King Kong. There's just all kinds of movies that we got Plan 9, Cat People.
Bigfoot and Brown Dwarf.
The Day the Earth Stood Still. I mean, there's just so many sci-fi and space movies and creatures and monster movies that it's just like never ending.
There was quite a bit when we were little, wasn't there? Is that when we were first start being programmed and brainwashed?
Yeah, I mean, that's not even talking about, the ones that everybody remembers, like Frankenstein and the Mummy and Dracula, and I mean, there's all those other ones that are out there that are just cool old movies that nobody really talks about.
And just think, one of the old original soap operas was even Dark Shadows.
Yeah, Dark Shadows. I remember Dark Shadows.
Hi, Val.
Yeah, hi, Val. Anybody else slip in while I was sitting there talking and not paying attention?
Tammy said, "Oh, the hand."
Yeah, the hand was good. But there was all kinds of big giant bugs, and you had the crab, you had the hand, you had the giant woman, you had the incredible shrinking man. I mean, Journey to the Center of the Earth. There's just so many of them.
Well, one that I remember was either Twilight Zone or what's the other one that's similar? Night Gallery. It was one of those that he flushed a spider down the sink with the water, then it came back bigger, and he flushed that down the sink and it got bigger, and every time he killed it, came back bigger and bigger and bigger. That's creepy.
I do not remember that one.
And I don't like spiders. Your beard is looking good, girl. It's actually looking great, girl. Getting there.
Yeah, my favorite Twilight Zone is the one where the guy reads books all the time, and he works in the bank, and he used to take his lunch and his breaks and go into the vault and read his books. And the bank manager would always get on him about it, And so one day he went in there and he closed the door, and he's sitting in there and reading his book. And when he finally realized he's been in there too long, he goes out and everything was gone. So it's like a nuclear bomb went out, and there was nobody around, no buildings, hardly anything around. And then he discovered the library and started planning out his year list of books. He just had books on the steps going up to the library, just piled and piled.
So the library still existed.
Yeah, the buildings, a lot of the buildings still existed, but the people were gone. But he ended up tripping and knocking his glasses off, and then he stepped on them. So then he had all that time in the world to read books, and then he couldn't do it because he didn't have no glasses.
Aww. That's sad.
Yeah, Trilogy of Horror. I was just watching that today, actually. I found that online, was watching it. I was kind of scanning through the first part, and I got to the little guy, he looked like a Zulu warrior, a little tiny guy, and he had a spear, and he kept poking and cutting the lady or whatever in the movie.
Hey, Twisted.
Hey, Twisted.
Robin wants to know if you have the movie Soylent Green.
Yep. Those, Charlton Heston. We played, did we play him yet? No. Or did we? No, but I like Soylent Green. I like the Omega Man.
And Twisted wants to know if you remember the movie Caveman.
Yep, Caveman. I remember that. There was even one with, the one had Raquel Welch in it, and then there's another Caveman movie that had Ringo Starr as one of the main leads.
Ringo Starr?
Yep.
Monisha.
Hi, Monisha.
I think I've seen these people like 3 or 4 times today.
So I have
Today's been a busy day.
we watched 3 or 4 shows today.
We had Jessica, then there's Andy Deco, and then I watched a couple that I'm subscribed to, and then it was Bob and Lala, and then it was Dennis, and then it's us. And Dwarf popped in this afternoon. I mean, I think I said hi to most of you guys about 5 times. Hi again. It seemed like, man, everybody was on today.
Yeah.
Roger remembers watching the one with Ringo. Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, Marathon Man. I remember that movie. We're trying to stick to monster movies, creepy movies, old sci-fi kind of movies. But I've watched all those old movies.
Hi, little Kilroy. I think it's fun going through the Lost in Space series. That I do remember sitting down on the floor watching on TV. Yeah, Brian was on 2 shows tonight. He was back to back.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to see our deer,
And I just put more corn out, and then we got another inch and a half, but it found it. It just kind of dug it up a little bit.
so there's our deer out in the garden.
They usually show up when it's cold and snowy, when there's nothing to eat, and they know there's deer corn in the garden. Apple flavored deer corn.
So we got that going tonight. We got some cameras outside to watch the snow and the animals, and of course we got a couple new creepy acres.
Creepy.
And then if everybody in chat's still around hanging with us and having fun, we might dig into Tartaria and the mud flood or something. So I got some pictures of that stuff to bring up. And
Oh my.
we've done 3 or 4 shows on Tartaria and mud flood and
Old world.
even Egypt over in the Grand Canyon. And I found a map. I didn't upload it. I should. I found a map that shows the U.S. as actually being almost like the Garden of Eden or even Egypt, where it shows like if the actual river running through the Grand Canyon was actually the Nile. And then the mounts that they named for the temple, you know, Osiris and all the temples in the Grand Canyon, all the peaks, then it makes sense if you look at a map of Egypt and you look at the map of the Grand Canyon.
I was watching a video the other night. Well, you know, I've been watching all kinds of old world videos the last few nights. They were wondering if Israel was actually over here. And that would make sense with all the Egypt stuff too.
Well, if you
That
know,
interesting.
if you think that Israel and Egypt and all that was over here, then I guess
Right.
the Garden of Eden would have to be over here too.
So yeah.
But that could have been when we were all one landmass.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we had different regions and stuff like that.
And I think I uploaded them. I'll have to check, but I think I got a couple AI renditions of flat Earth and globe models put together, so it looks like the two are happening at the same time.
I still say it's both. And they're causing a division and causing fighting with people. But yeah, it's just these old buildings are just, I think I've been into it like 4, maybe 5 years now. Just beautiful, beautiful buildings. There's more people spotting them, and Brown Dwarf spotting them, walking around going, that's an old world building. I know it.
Hi, Robin. I thought we talked about old world maps and we shared them back and forth once. I
Well, I
mean,
know we did on Jessica's show. Yeah, I mean we've been on
no,
Jessica's show
I
a
mean
couple times.
personally, I think personally with Robin, we were sharing stuff back and forth on Messenger and stuff. But
Do you have any?
I don't
on
know. I just run across them in videos, or I find them online and I search for them, and I go to library sites and places that sell old maps or people that collect old maps, and I go to their sites and
Do you have any on the computer now?
well, I probably do somewhere.
Raymond snuck in. Hi, Raymond.
Oh, actually, on this computer, I don't. I think they're all on your computer.
Oh,
Oh, here, I can probably send one over to the computer real fast.
yes, Raymond. There's pyramids all over the U.S. There's pyramids all over the whole world. Lie. And that's the thing about going down rabbit holes. You come up with more questions, and then you go on. Why this? Why that?
Why?
You know, if there was a Tartaria, but it wasn't a whole world Tartaria. So I like what Dwarf and I, say it's old world buildings. Why are they hiding it? Why are they hiding giant stuff? Why are they doing this? Why is there a Smithsonian? Why are they hiding old maps?
You know, the weird thing is, the more I look into these old maps and stuff, like I found one that has Chicago as what's it called?
A different name for Chicago.
Chilagha.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that, weren't we?
Chilga, Chilagha. So before it was Chicago, there was already something there similar to the same name. And the same thing with San Francisco. If you look at the old maps that people drew back before supposedly all these cities and stuff were there was actually an SF and San Fran, Frisco on a couple maps were there before the city actually was founded.
I think we were talking about the Chilagha when we had that JT follows JC on our show.
Yeah,
that's when we were talking about Chilagha.
Yep, JC's big on TikTok and Instagram and talking about old world and mud flood.
Yeah, he's one person that I've been binge watching. Beautiful pictures. I mean, I've been looking up these pictures for so many years, but it just seems like here recently I'm finding videos of new buildings and new melted stuff and pictures that I've never seen before. They're just all over the place.
I'll send this one over to my computer just for the fun of it. We'll do a show on it one of these days. Hopefully it won't knock us off while we're doing live or anything.
That deer looks cold.
Oh.
Let's bring it in.
Bring it in?
Yeah. Is Blazer still in the house or did he leave?
I don't know.
He's the one that's been bugging me about screaming goats.
That is too loud.
I think there's old world buildings here because we've got the red brick buildings and going into Peoria, which is about 45 minutes away. I'm noticing. I think they're all over. Pretty much all over. If we had something happen just a couple 100 years ago, I think they're all over the place. Usually the red brick is the sign. But we don't have anything stunning or gorgeous or beautiful. I mean, we do got some pretty interesting courthouses, yeah. Seems like they did take over all those and made them into courthouses. And libraries, but our library is just a boring square building. We don't have a fancy library.
Ours is. I remember when it was built, so it's new.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what was there before that library.
Oh, you don't remember what was on that corner?
No, I mean, as far as the library goes, I don't remember what was there, where the original library was, or what kind of building it was. I don't remember.
Now that's an old map.
And as you can see,
wow,
at
I
the
don't know if I've
top.
seen this one. Is this a new one?
Yeah, or new to us anyway. So I'm, it says like America. I don't Orbis Paradis Nova. You'd have to look up the description exact. So you'd have to look it up. But if you look closely, once again, you got like gods and stuff on sea monsters, right? And you got angels flying over top of them. So you got all kinds of weird stuff depicted on these maps again.
There are blummies on this one.
I'm sure somewhere. So here
I was watching a video last night of some old maps, and they were showing blummies, and then they're showing pictures of all the blummies.
So here's in this map, they actually have Florida
What?
listed.
Florida.
But Florida's way up here. It's not down here where you would think it would be. Unless the whole region was called Florida. And they have the Appalachian Mountains listed.
Oh.
So here, this one even has Francisca. But it's in the wrong place as far as the United States. But the other maps that I've been finding, they've actually had over here, they've had San Francisco or San Francisco listed. Then down here in Mexico, they got like the Giant.
Good night, little Twisted. I hope you're feeling better. Is there a year on this map?
Well, I'm sure there is somewhere. I mean, when I downloaded it, I'm sure there was a year.
Wow, there's a lot on here. It's probably in Roman numerals.
I think somebody wrote on here 1562 up here in the corner.
15. No, that would make sense. That would be lining up about that time too.
But if you go by some of the videos and the things that we've talked, these ones are actually eyes. So then they're wondering, okay, is this really
562?
562, not 1562?
Well, that's
where they took, the 1,000 years, where they added 1,000 years to our calendar.
Yeah, there's theories out there that they added 1,000 years or they took away 1,000 years. Are we actually in the year that they're saying?
So there's just all kinds of stuff on this map.
Which I think there is. That would explain old world buildings. And what happened to all the sea monsters and stuff like that, You
got a god or a merman. They got riding on a lion.
Like a lion mermaid?
Well, no, he's a man.
Yeah.
Or a mermaid or something, merman, but the lion has flippers and a tail and he's riding it. Then you got another person coming out blowing a conch shell or a seashell. Then you got whatever this weirdo thing is, and then up above that you got the flying fish and
flying fish.
Then here's a swordfish or whatever that is. But everywhere you go on this map, it's just like something bizarre.
Oh, Browndorf had a good thought. Is Coral Castle actually old world, or did he really create it?
That's true. I don't know. I mean, they say he did, but he did it in secret, so nobody really knows. But you think somebody.
But that's down in South Florida, right?
Well, he moved it. It was in two different places. He moved it to that location from another location.
Oh, he did move it.
Yep.
It still makes me wonder if he figured out the frequency of levitation. I don't know. And then Brown Dwarf, one of the videos that I was watching the other night was showing star forts, and there is a beautiful star fort down there by the Keys in Florida. You got to look it up. It's stunning. Just what was that? 20 billion bricks. And there's no way they could have carried 20 billion bricks all the way out there in the middle of nowhere. And how they build it. It's a beautiful star fort. And then they said there's one in San Francisco. I guess there's a star fort in San Francisco. Well, I guess they're all over.
Yeah, they're
all
definitely out east, and they're all over. I mean, the Statue of Liberty is built on a star fort, or the shape of it, anyways. A star fort, and there used to be a fort there before in the old world, before they put the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I've seen that on several different videos that it was actually a star fort, and they put Statue of Liberty on top of a star fort. And what were those star forts? We were told that they had wooden forts.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start with keep going down the route of Tartaria, I guess, since we're already talking about it.
Or Old World.
Old World,
well, like I said, on the maps, Tartaria was pretty much only over there around Russia. So it's not really Tartaria around the whole world. So it's got to be an old world, like we've been calling it. More old world buildings.
Right. So I found this one not too long ago, or a while ago, but I just now loaded it to computer, I guess I should say. So this is a building in St. Louis, and it is like a courthouse, a civil law building. So they got these griffins or dragons, whatever, and star shapes all around the building.
Well, just getting the pillars way up there would be almost impossible.
And then they got these Roman,
wow,
Greek looking.
So you said that's in St. Louis,
right? And this could be a building. This might have been the building from a World's Fair from St. Louis. I don't know.
What's on top? Griffins in the corner?
Yep.
Oh, and they're all on the side there too. Now, is that the same thing as a gargoyle, or is gargoyle different than a griffin?
Gargoyle is different than a griffin. So if you look at this at the very top of the building.
What is that?
Well, I will show you.
He or she. And a pyramid on top of this building.
So it looks it almost looks like a sphinx. But then the closer you get to it, it has wings and it has like a male figure. And we were guessing the backside might be identical, but only maybe the female. Not positive.
Crystal said, well, I'm not saying it's aliens, but.
Yeah, really. That's true.
Tim Mothman. How did he did sneak in. Hi, Tim Mothman.
So here is a drone shot directly at the statue on top of that building. And look what's behind it. The arch.
Well, it had a sphinx feet, but not a sphinx face. Or is a sphinx supposed to be a lion?
And then it's got this crest on its chest. It's got that symbol on its chest.
Lion paws.
But isn't that a cool picture of St. Louis where you got that building? If you have the drone looking straight at that top of that building, and you have the arch directly centered behind it.
That's a
now,
nice.
If there's not some symbolism or meaning to this, I don't know.
Oh, there probably is. Wow. Hmm.
So then,
And then,
if anybody watched us on Jessica the Cryptid Huntress when we did actually we did 2 shows. We did the Grand Canyon about being a part of Egypt, and we also did Little Egypt down south in Illinois. It's called Little Egypt. And then I brought up the fact that in New York City, there is an Egyptian spire obelisk,
mm,
an original one that actually came from Egypt, and it's in New York City
welcome in,
in
Patrick.
Central Park.
Yeah, welcome in, Patrick. Raymond wants to know, do you know of any companies that can make this? No. I mean, back in the 1800s, who in the world made some of this? That's
I watch shows now on Discovery Channel, History Channel, on people trying to make these now, and they can't move them without them breaking. They can't.
yeah. There's a show I was watching last night.
can't
They were
even
saying
cut
we
'em.
don't have anything, even with all the caterpillar stuff, we don't have anything strong enough to lift some of these boulders and things without it toppling over. So how in the world was some of this made?
But they supposedly brought this over on a boat
Phew, that would have been heavy.
from Egypt. And there's another one identical to it, a sister one in Europe, in London. But this is still in Central
New
Park, New York.
Wow.
And there's 3 other obelisks, or 2 other obelisks in New York, and they're both one's at like a cemetery and one's in front of a Mason building. And the people that helped set this and bring this over were Masons.
Mm-hmm.
It's obelisk, and underneath of it, and capstone, or the time capsule, there's a obelisk, not obelisk, but there's the Mason symbol of the if you look at their symbol, they have the ruler, or the square, and the hammer and the chisel. And so evidently all that is underneath this obelisk as a time capsule, or some kind of symbolism, I guess. I don't know. I hope you're reading chats. I've been trying to do the pictures.
I'm still going. I'm getting better with the chat. Yeah, I'm still catching people sneaking in.
I mean, if they have any comments while I'm talking and bringing up these pictures,
Yeah, I'm trying to
losing track of chat.
Ted said they had levitation machines.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy with the Coral Castle. Yeah, Coral Castle guy had to have figured out the frequency to levitate, to make Coral Castle in Florida. Now, wasn't it reports that people heard the noise, him making sounds and stuff at night?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how did he figure that out? Did he have dreams or anything? Is there anything in his testimony?
They said he supposedly got information from the Akashic record, or something was speaking to him, and giving him the knowledge of free energy and all that stuff, and how to move stuff and find the right frequencies to levitate these.
Similar to Tesla.
And then,
or is that not as loud?
So if you watched our Tartaria show with Dr. John Stammy and JT, we talked about the cathedral buildings and stained glass windows.
Yeah, I think that was more John Stamy when we were doing the cathedrals. Yeah, because we actually did 2 Tartarias recently.
So,
Oh, that's
so if
beautiful.
you look, the
Oh,
stained glass is right above the pipe organ.
yep. Which not too many people knew how to play those, let alone fix them. They could not understand pipe organs. And why can't we make pipe organs today?
I don't know.
We don't.
So then if you look at the patterns of these stained glasses, the shapes and the circles and the rings going out. I mean,
Hi,
look at
CRJ. Welcome
Look at
in.
hey, CRJ, look at
And
these.
Blue Line. Blue Line just snuck in too.
All right.
Hello.
So if you look at this great big pipe organ,
Oh my gosh. We had a small pipe organ in the church when I was a kid. I can imagine what a large one like that would sound like.
so if you look at
Oh,
this main pipe organ or the main pipes in this, you can see the stained glass window from the sunlight reflecting all these colors.
that's beautiful.
So colors have frequencies. The pipe
Mm-hmm.
organ's tuned at 432.
Mm-hmm.
So you mix the energy of the sunlight and the sound energy of the pipe organ. It was all made for healing your body.
Look at the details above those giant pipes. Oh, wow.
So if you can imagine sitting in this great cathedral or church, if you will, with a pipe organ resonating through the building, which was designed perfectly to resonate it and amplify it to hit your body wherever you sat in this church. And plus the softness and the sunlight going through the stained glass window, hitting the pipe organ, mixing with the music.
Mm.
I mean, it was just nothing but energy and healing going out.
Yep. Definitely a healing center. Beautiful pipe organs. Wow. Someone in chat say humans did that. Please explain how. Please. I just don't see how humanly possible anybody can make some of these things, and especially these cathedrals. It's absolutely stunning.
I mean, that's not even getting into the fact of the church bells that they would ring that would go out through the community for healing and warding off evil. And then you could hear the pipe organs going through the town or the communities.
I'm seeing pictures of I'm talking giant bells. I mean, they used to have, people look like little ants compared to these bells that they've got rid of. And either they destroyed them or the Smithsonian has them on some level. I couldn't believe the size of some of these bells that they used to have in these places. Unbelievable. That's one of them. Yep, that's one that I saw, I'm pretty sure. Man, that is one big bell. Can you imagine how heavy that is?
So if you can imagine the resonance and the vibration coming off of this bell that was perfectly tuned, and they were 432 also.
Brownsworth says more cowbell.
That's right, more cowbell.
Bring the bells back, more cowbell. Wow. And where did they all go? Where are all these giant bells? I just hope they didn't destroy it. I mean, Smithsonian is one thing, hiding everything from us, but just to destroy all these buildings alone, usually by fire.
Right.
They're slowly trying to get rid of all these old world buildings.
So then if you look at the stained glass window in the cathedrals, and then you actually look at the outside design, Now, I know anybody that's going to be listening to this later or only listening and not able to see the pictures, but if you look at the designs on all these stained glass windows on the outside, you'll be able to see how if you go and watch any somatics videos where these frequencies that are put to sand and to generate, or even in liquid, even in water, they'll do it, but in sand, they generate these shapes. Well, guess what they look like? Guess what they match?
Those windows.
They match the stained glass window designs.
Mm-hmm. So they were frequency designs in those windows.
So if you look at this one, and you look at the design right here that this frequency is making, pretty close. There's a lot of them that are really, really similar.
And how would they know that back in the 15, 16, 1700s? Wow.
So not only do you have the pipe organ, the church bells, the stained glass window with the sunlight going through them that's generating frequencies and colors, but the design itself,
the ceiling
is made in the symbol or the somatics to generate frequency of the design of the stained glass window.
I don't think they would do that just for a church sermon and go home.
So what's everybody in sacred geometry? Yep, somatics.
So much mystery. But once again, the main question is, why do they have to hide some of this and get rid of it?
Well, some of the bells, Robin just said, didn't my lunchbox, and I like my lunchbox.
Some of the bells were melted down.
Now they were supposedly for the World War, they were taking the bells and using them. They said they needed the metal and all that for it. But if you look online, you'll see where churches and communities were actually burying the bells.
Burying them?
Yeah. They were found underground, buried. I'm not saying they didn't take some bells or, to scrap them out for the war effort, but a majority of these big giant bells were being buried.
Wow. And if you guys are interested in this stuff, go to My Lunch Break on YouTube. There's John Levy, Jon Levy.
My Lunch Break.
My Lunch Break. Yeah, My Lunch Break is a good one. John Levy is another good one. JT follows JC that we had a month ago. He's on Instagram, TikTok. He's all over the place and shows a bunch of this old world stuff. And, questioning like, why this? Why that? Trying to find these missing pieces of the puzzle.
So, and here's another interesting one if you want to talk about old world. So here's railroad tracks.
And that's my theory.
There's railroad tracks that looks like they're digging them out instead of making new ones.
I say they were already here and the trains were already here and they just got them up and running again.
So look how high this bank over here is and over on this side where the trees and everything is. And look how far down. And you can see plants and stuff that they've chopped down. And
this is around 1850. So where's the factories that are making all the train tracks and stuff? I'm pretty sure this stuff was already here. It's old world, even the trains.
I've always thought that, even younger, when they talked about the Continental Railroad, where they met from East Coast to West Coast in the middle and met up with each other. How are they able to do that in such a short time and go through
Right.
the mountains and go around the rivers and build the bridges and
Dynamiting mountains to go in between. I just
so it would make sense that they could do it so fast and so easily if the tracks or the majority of the tracks going across the US were already here.
Yep.
And we just uncovered them and repurposed them just like we did all the old buildings we're talking about.
And this is just another lie. Because we were discussing that, I think, with John Stamey also, of Abraham Lincoln's car was absolute. I mean, the train, they're stunning, and that's 1850. And you use your common sense, you go, huh?
Yeah, Bigfoot Dwarf talks about John Levy. I like his channel.
I like John Levy and My Lunch Break, those two. And then here lately, I've been diving into JT's videos. Wow. Hell on Wheels series with Anson Mount is worth the watch. Fact or fiction?
Yeah, Hell on Wheels has that railroad and talking kind of Tartaria, kind of old world stuff if you want to check that out. So then let's see, where should we go? Let's go here. Nah, I don't like that one. Mm-hmm. Where?
Shalaga, or however you pronounce that. Shalaga. Shalaga.
Boom shagalaga, boom shagalaga. Anyway, if we're talking about old technology, old world, Tartaria, you have to talk about the World's Fairs, and this is a picture from the Chicago World's Fair.
Hidden civilization.
Which, if you're going to do a fair, why are you making it look like Rome?
Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of these videos I'm watching, they're all saying, like, why is there so much Rome stuff over here?
Why are you doing statues that are huge, like Greek gods or Caesars or czars, whatever, however you want to say it?
And that was humanly possible to pick up and put on that platform in the 1800s when they had horse and buggy. No electricity, no tools, no cranes.
And right after the Chicago fire, the Great Fire of Chicago happened. They built the World's Fair on that property. Well, what's happening out in LA? Had a fire.
And Robin just said, Jane, there's a church like Gerald has shown near you with stained glass. Or is there? Well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, our churches,
downtown.
Our Catholic churches in our town have stained glass in them.
And
they're just not huge like those, but they're pretty big for our town.
And the double steeple one in downtown Peoria has a lot of stained glass.
So anyway, what I was saying was there was a great fire in Chicago. On that land, they just happened to build the Chicago Fair or World's Fair. And in LA, they had a fire. And now here in a few years, supposedly they're going to build the Olympic Center and all that stuff on where the burnout area is, supposedly. I don't know. How many cities have had major disasters as in fires, and then all of a sudden that's where they built their World's Fairs, whether it was New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Philadelphia. I don't know. I'm just asking a hypothetical kind of question. So I'm just going to go through these pictures that I have that I found of the old Chicago World's Fair or the Columbia Exposition. Just to let you guys see it. This was from a past program that we did on Tartaria. So here's Lake Michigan. There's the pier, Navy Pier.
Look at the details on that. Someone please explain to me how humans made that.
I don't know. You know what the other weird thing is?
Oh my gosh.
All these buildings and a lot of these pictures, and some of them I took while I didn't take. I found online while the fair was going on. But how many people do you see in these pictures?
That's what a lot of these videos that I'm watching, they're saying, where's all the people?
If this is during the World's Fair, or where's the workers that are building if it's while they're being built? Where's the people attending the fair in these pictures?
Because they claimed the population was so low back then. They
Yeah,
said
they
during
had
the World's Fair,
millions.
it was people from around the world that came.
They had millions of people go through there. So
Mhm.
how would it be possible to take pictures without people?
And they were all dressed like they were all in, just luxury.
I mean,
they
some
were
of
all
these
dressed so
pictures,
fancy.
some of these pictures I think do have people in them, but not very many. But the majority of them don't have, that I've found online, don't have any people in them.
And they claim they built this within just a few months. And we can't make anything even near it.
Did I miss something? Don't worry, girl. They grounded also.
Not plaster. Well, another show. Thank you, Kaylee. Yeah, not plaster. Another video I was watching is they're saying, like with the Book of Alexandria, a lot of the past history on how they made their concrete that lasts thousands of years when we can't even make a road last a year. And so they lost a lot of this hidden knowledge of, how did they make it last so long? And another thing that a lot of these videos point out is if you look at these, they're supposed to have been just built for the World's Fair. Those things don't look brand new. You can tell they've been there for a while. They look old. Those are not brand new buildings. And no mistakes in any of those, the artwork and the carvings and getting pillars all the way up there on the higher level. Oh, yeah, I saw that picture. In the 1800s? Are you kidding me?
That's inside of the major building inside the World's Fair.
Sorry, my BS meter's going off. Nope, not with those kind of details. And the granite and the marble and gold and.
So this is I think this is the Science and Industry building, or maybe it's a history building that's still up in Chicago. You can still go to it.
Brown Dwarf, you're on to something. I might send you some of the videos that I've been finding. It looks like, go back and zoom in again. It looks like a UFO in the corner. What is that little round dome thingy?
Where?
Zoom in. Now scroll over. Up in the corner. What's that little round thing? It looks like a UFO up there. Yeah, what is that? It is round.
That's kind of looks like this. It's like part of a dome. I don't know.
It's a UFO.
Could be.
Okay, zoom into the circle. Is that? Yeah. What kind of shape is that?
Mm.
Interesting.
I don't know.
And why did the post office and courthouses and all them, well, we kind of know why they got taken over. And just remember, you don't see a sign that says built in those years. You'll find founded.
And
Founded.
here's a picture at night where all the buildings inside and outside are lit, and the walkways around the lagoon
And
are
they
lit.
didn't, yep, and they didn't have electricity back then.
Well, it was just starting out, if not. But how did they get that done? How did they get the buildings done? The lakes, the amusement rides. I mean, we got all
They
kinds
found
of
them.
stuff that had to happen really, really fast. I mean, they didn't even have electricity in the streets or in the houses. I don't believe, except for like maybe the Rockefellers or maybe some of the bigger.
There's a place in the Old World Fair. One of these videos I saw, it has a sign. I think it might have been the ticket booth that there was looked like they had light bulbs. They just look like palaces, mansions. Something that a king,
Look how
something
big
that a
that
king would
building
live
is.
in.
Can you imagine building that? Look how big that is.
Can you imagine cleaning that? How about heating the place? But we're told that they were in horse and buggy. And
Well,
most of their houses had wood floors and
if you had free energy, it wouldn't be hard to.
yeah, but is that the only reason why they're hiding all these buildings and destroying them because they don't want us to know about free energy? I think we all know about Tesla got free energy.
Now this is a gateway to the Woodlands, and it's still there in Chicago, and it's gold plated and all kinds of. And
that reminds me of a Stargate or a portal, the layers going into it like that.
so that's how you get to the Woodlands.
What's in the middle? What's that little half circle in the middle of it? Is that a picture of something?
I'm sure it is, but I don't know. The definition's not very good on this picture when you zoom in.
Almost looks like a Mothman.
It's probably some Greek god or something.
Hi, Baja Girl. She said, I would go to downtown Chicago all the time and marvel at the old buildings, not realizing what I was looking at. Yeah, the cat is out of the bag now. I mean, they dumbed us down. They brainwashed us. I mean, we were taught in school. We're supposed to believe what we were taught in school. We honestly have to unprogram ourselves and not have a closed mind. Don't keep your opinion. Just have an open opinion, open mind, and just scratch your head and go, just use your common sense that there's no stinking way. And even giants, some people say, oh, the giants did this. The giants, I'm sorry, but the details of some of these old buildings is almost impossible for the 16, 17, 1800s.
But even if I don't know the time period. Let's say the fire happened. Then they had to take the planning to say, okay, where are we going to put the World's Fair? Let's do it there. And then to plan and draw out this, and then to get the materials there, and then to put it together, all these pedestals, all these railings, the river to block it in for the lagoon, the obelisks, all these statues that are absolutely huge, let alone the buildings and the inside and the lights and the wiring and the energy, and to get all this, basically a whole city.
Well, and they said everyone knows how heavy granite is, even just amethyst and rose. I mean, stones are heavy, and they only had, covered wagons.
So this
How
is
did they
supposed to
carry
be,
all this material, and where did they get this material?
so this is supposed to be one of the ticket booths that people would go to. So look at this statue behind
Wow.
compared to the size of the people that would be like in this
Mhm.
ticket booth.
And how did they make that? They have molds, Now, are some of these statues still standing? Are they still there, or did they take them down and destroy them?
No, there isn't any of that still
Okay.
left at all. I mean,
Uh,
the statues at the
hmm.
History Building and Life and Science Building in Chicago, or I should say Natural History, I think it is. The lions and the stuff like that that's attached to the building or part of the building is still there. But like these statues and stuff, they're all gone. But there is a replica in Chicago.
But not that big.
Not that big. It was a replica based off of that statue. Then here's the Ferris wheel, the very first Ferris wheel of made by Ferris.
We couldn't even build that these days, I don't think.
And they actually have railroad car size for the people to be in.
No, Monisha was wondering if they're on ley lines. And
Oh, absolutely.
but the thing is, if they've lied to us about pretty much everything, are the maps of ley lines correct? Do we really know? Another question. Where did it go? Daryl wants to know, Daryl, where did you get the old map pictures with the cryptoids?
If you just search old maps, old world maps, anything like that, they'll pop up and you just start going through it. And when you click on one image, more images come underneath of it. Or like I said, you go to like the Smithsonian or the really good one is New York Public Library of Congress have all these maps, and you just go there and you screen capture them or download them, or sometimes they're free and you can put your just a free account in, just a name and whatever email you want to use. I always have a junk email that I use just in case they track you or try to. I just put in a junky email.
You can go on YouTube and search old maps, and you can, when they show them, screenshot it.
Yeah, I mean, I screenshot a lot of them, and
then
you get better quality if you actually are able to download them.
How you feeling, Firewater? I'm glad you're finally home.
Firewater. I'm glad you're out of the hospital.
Yeah, she's finally home from the hospital. Whoop, whoop. That deserves a goat. Those are amazing, too.
So we're talking about old world and giants and stuff. So how do you justify a door this size?
All right, now, so this is something I was thinking the other day, too. We've been told how tall a lot of these giants are, correct?
Yeah.
They're not that tall as these doors.
Well, your doors would always be taller than you, or should be.
But a giant's probably about half the size of that door.
Yeah, could be.
So it's something even bigger than that. There's no explanation why they would have humongous doors that would probably be very hard to open, too.
So I'm not sure how tall this woman is. I'm going to guess she's probably average height of 5'7". I don't know, somewhere in that area. So look at where the door handle is.
Hi, Derek. Release the Kraken. Dragon doors.
Could be.
Because on the inside, look at how high their ceilings were and everything. Even their doorways inside are huge. Fireplaces are huge. Maybe they had pet dragons. Yeah.
So this one,
that has a dog door.
they actually they have a little doggy door that's human size, or
I can't reach. Dwarf said he can't reach that.
I mean, they're just everywhere. These doors are literally in every major city. You can find them.
Look at the details in those doors too.
So once again, the door handles, depending on how tall this lady is, and I'm guessing she's over 5'5" or I don't know.
No, let's just say 5'10". That's still under 6 foot. Wow. A lot of those buildings are probably gone now too. They're slowly getting rid of those. Oops, we had a fire.
Huh?
I said they're slowly getting rid of these buildings with these massive
okay.
doors. And then they go, oops, we had a fire.
I understand what you're saying.
And that's one of my favorites. And this is, what, a couple thousand years old, isn't it? So how did they build this 2,000 years ago? 1,000, 2,000, maybe even 3,000. How did they make something like that? Wow.
So this is an archway going in, and then you still have the giant doors inside that you have to open up.
And boy, do they hold up to the weather.
Then I think this is a picture that comes up on everybody's channel as far as the mud flood. And here's the level that we know where the nice blue is. And then you start going down, and if those buildings were never meant to be exposed, why would you have doors and windows underneath the ground? I mean, literally, doors and windows that were buried underneath the ground. And it looks like they haven't even reached the bottom of this yet.
Mm-mm.
And that was another thing. If you look up all these pictures of like Chicago Bears Soldier Field that has Romanesque columns to it, you never see them. They supposedly have construction of making the football field, but you never see any pictures of them putting the columns up or the like it was almost like a coliseum before. Then they put a football field in the middle of it.
I screenshot this from a video last night. You can, oh yeah, you can see the column buried in the dirt. Look how big that column is.
Right.
It was so cool.
That's another thing that they all these pictures of these old buildings and stuff, a lot of time, like even the World's Fair buildings, you don't see below all the pictures of constructions shows the level of the earth, or just like it is during the Chicago Fair. You don't see them where they dug out and put foundations in or blocks or anything. So the ground is always level like it is during the World's Fair when it was happening. You never see construction pictures of them digging it out and putting the foundations in or the basements or other levels or whatever. But yet all these buildings have lower levels that you go down into.
But what's interesting is they're not finding bodies. So was it some kind of technology that made them just disintegrate in the dust? If it melted cement? That's why they're not finding tons of bodies buried inside this mud that's 20 feet or so? You just come up with more questions and more questions and more questions.
So once again, here is the cars and the main street, the main level, and then down underneath, you have the same kind of structures that we see on all the buildings, these pylons, these big columns. Now, you wouldn't you wouldn't make those columns unless you were at this level to be able to go in and out and walk through and go in. You wouldn't put those structures there. And they're still digging it out lower.
Yeah, you're right, Dwarfy. Bodies are all in the catacombs and the churches. That's a lot of things down there.
So here's
wow.
Of all the major cities around the world that have the same type of buildings and columns and domes and
yeah, the dome ones are amazing, especially like over in Russia. The buildings that Chinese have, they still look like there's places that a king would live in. And they're all giant. I mean, you don't see too many small buildings. They sure did make them big. That's a lot of cement.
I mean, there's so many. Look, there's your stained glass windows and your
with the symbols in the windows.
Then you got the towers and the steeples for the free energy antennas and the stained glass windows and the bells and
they had no power tools to do this.
So that's that same building we were looking at earlier, but it's at a level of where they're excavating. So you can see that that's actually an opening where you go in. So why would that be buried underneath where they built on top? If that was just a foundation, why would there be an opening where you can go in these columns like you would if it was up on a land, the normal level that you'd walk in on?
Oh my gosh. That's a palace.
No, that's just a library. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's just a library or courthouse. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And all the cathedrals they stole. All roads lead to you know who. Oh, that's another stunning one. Yeah, humans made that all with all the details. Yeah. You can't say we lost that technology. You can't say Masons did it because they were master builders. Nope. This is something different. Oh, and yes, let alone the insides.
So we had electronic technology to take us to the moon that was less than a calculator or a remote control for a TV. And we went to the moon, lots of missions. But yet today they said they don't have the technology, or they lost the technology and can't reproduce it.
Mm-hmm.
With all the technology, computer power, and advancement in electronics, we can't duplicate technology that was like less than our cell phones that got us to the moon.
A lot of this still looks melded.
But we have quantum computers that can figure out trillions of mathematical equations per second. But we don't have the technology or the way to get to the moon.
And they had technology back then to carve into mountains and create cities on the inside of these mountains by hand tools. Nope. I don't think so. And some of these look like they're melted. It still reminds me of Game of Thrones when they had that one scientist or whatever.
Wildfire.
Yes, and it was supposed to be super, super, super hot, and that would explain being so hot that no bodies would be there, and it would melt this concrete and make it look like mountains and rock and stone. What's with all the animals? Wow. And some of this is thousands years old. I still say these were all here and they just founded everything and claimed everything. The powers that be that run the whole world claimed all of this, all the mansions, all the castles. They took claim of it.
So I have a cotton. I don't physically have the copy, but I have several history books. And if you look at history books before 1910, you will find that there's sections in these history books or encyclopedias that say that the Native Americans or the elders back in the 1800s and earlier told people that they came here and found structures and tools and implements that they repurposed. So this is our own Native Americans in the United States. They're supposed to have been here before us, that were the original inhabitants of the U.S. They themselves, through oral history, told people
Wow.
that when they came here, there was already structures and tools and a previous civilization before them.
But we were told they lived in teepees. They took over those buildings until we came over and started taking claim of everything. So don't believe in Columbus. They knew these buildings and treasures and artifacts and stuff was over here, and they had to get over here and grab it, claim it, get rid of evidence. And it was all planned 250 years ago.
So I think that's all the Tartaria stuff I have on this computer. I got tons of it upstairs.
Oh, I've got tons on my tablet too. I've got so many old world pictures. It just blows your mind. Who's Columbus? Oh, the one that they claimed they found this land for the first time. No, they knew after this disaster that they needed to get over here and start claiming buildings and grabbing all the artifacts and gold and diamonds and everything else. And Roman Catholic Church was involved, and they stole all the cathedrals or turned them into cathedrals. Those were healing centers. They had to have been healing centers. My goodness. But boy, did they go out of their way to lie to us.
Yeah, a bunch of liars.
I mean,
all right. So that's our little Tartaria, or everything that I have for tonight anyway on this computer. We'll have to do a show where I get all the files and stuff together.
Like I said,
something that's going around here recently, and it ties into this subject, is of Tartaria, is obviously, and we're talking about the World's Fairs and Expos. If you watch the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, they're at the World's Fair in St. Louis, and they talk about the little girl says that it rained so hard that it was finally done raining. They had to dig out the buildings out of the mud, and they found bodies.
Huh.
So you can watch that. That's in the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, the old Judy Garland movie.
And what year was that? You know,
19 something. I don't know.
I know
It
it
was
was
early.
like 40s, 50s.
No, it wasn't. I don't think so. And then at the same time, the grandpa or whatever and the little girl are talking, and she goes, "They're not going to tear this down, are they?" And he goes, "Oh no, they won't tear these down." So either that was a soft disclosure for mud flood,
Way back when.
and then they were going to tear down this World's Fair. So there was obviously talk of them tearing down these buildings already. So it's like, it's all soft disclosure. It's all there. We just have to pay attention.
Well, it's only common sense that there was definitely civilization that was far more advanced than the medieval times and then the Viking era, and having pilgrims and people dressed in bummy clothes and horse and buggy. And so if you're interested in this, happy rabbit hunting.
So it says Meet Me in St. Louis was 1944.
Mhm. Wow. This was all planned out. They planned all these movies and this and this and that.
So even in a family movie, Meet Me in St. Louis is talking about mud floods.
And we were taught only Noah's Ark was the flood. I don't know.
Yep, there Monisha said 1944.
Like I said, we just need to unprogram our brains that they planted all these years.
Good movie for movie night.
Ah,
Speaking, I don't even know, is anybody even watching this over on Rumble?
oh, I forgot we were on Rumble. Hi, Rumble.
It says
Anybody over there?
four people,
Hey.
but nobody said. I got chat up for Rumble. Nobody's talked in Rumble or said hi.
Oh, welcome in Rumble. We're the weird people that do the old movies.
So that's our Tartaria, our mud flood for tonight. I mean, we could keep going. I could probably upload some more stuff, or we can go to. Oh, there's Lady in the Lake. Rumble.
Robin went over there. Firewater makes a good point. They did not plan on so many of us putting the pieces together. Yeah, they did. They are not happy with a lot of us waking up and.
Well, I don't know about this, but maybe they were so blatant about it that they thought we'd never find out and did not see the internet and the wide information being able to share all around the world and take pictures. And I mean, wouldn't you think they would have known that, okay, someday they're all going to put it together, or maybe they didn't care?
Yeah, they did, because that's why they slowly are taking down these buildings. But we still kind of caught on. Can you imagine what was here in the early 1900s that was already taken down that none of us have seen? Little by little, they've been destroying it.
There's another person, Priestess, popped in the Rumble.
Hey, welcome to Rumble. Well, they made us all stupid. Because if you look into some of this history, education, which is our grade school, high school, but the colleges, universities, are all run by Rome. Rome also is in charge of all of our churches, even though you're not Catholic. So all these seminaries, when they try to become priests and whatever, ministers, reverends, whatever you want to call them, they are teaching what they were taught in that university, which who runs these universities? The higher ups. So even in churches, we were taught wrong.
Oh, by the way, Priestess is Chloe.
Chloe,
Yeah, she's over on our Rumble.
are you are Australia Chloe?
Yes.
Chloe, oh my
She
gosh,
told-
I miss you.
She told me I've been following her. She's been posting videos a little bit at a time over there and on her Instagram. So
we miss you, Chloe. Hope you're doing well. I hope you feel my hugs.
huggy.
We used to do Facebook, but we're not really doing Facebook anymore. They're stupid. We
Yeah,
tried.
we have Rumble, we have YouTube, obviously, we have Facebook groups, but we have like between our two Facebook groups, we have over 1,000 people, but they're like 500 each, or a little over 500 each on each. One's a page and one's a group. So I don't know why one's bigger than the other. They must be separated somehow. I thought they were tied together, but they're not.
And we've done X before, but now we can't unless you pay premium and be a higher up person to do live.
We got X, we got Rumble, we got Instagram, we have Spotify. We got almost every platform you can think of, but we've best been doing Rumble and YouTube.
We're not live on Spotify and them. You just upload all them. Just
upload.
To make right. Those are uploads.
Yeah. Robin says the education system may be changing for the better. Yeah, I hope so. I hope the Doge Department of Government Overspending is going to handle that, and it seems like they're doing a good job. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. So yeah, they've done a good job dumbing us down, and and if you go up to some of these people, then you're in the conspiracies and you're trying to explain something to a friend or a family member, they get all defensive, like, I wasn't taught that. They didn't teach us that in school. I mean, they get defensive, like, we weren't taught that. So then you get into the debate. Did we go to the moon?
We went to the moon.
Oh, did we?
When did we do that? Why am I just now hearing about it? So here's our outside camera out at our garden facing the field.
Ooh, deer tracks.
Yeah, that's where the deer was earlier, remember?
Deer tracks.
So in case anybody hasn't seen it yet, I thought I'd pop it up behind us, and so they can see our snow, our fresh snow that we got today, because there wasn't no snow because we have been having 40-degree weathers that melted the little snow that we'd already got this year.
So we got close to 2 inches last night, and then we probably got about 1.5 inches, maybe 2, probably about another 1.5 inches on top of that today.
We need Gone Girl in here to tell us what they got up by Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hear you, Firewater. A lot of people left Facebook during then. That's when
I still post to our Facebook group, but my personal Facebook, not so much, once in a while. But our group, our Midwest Night Watchers group, and our page, I post quite a bit of stuff, especially stuff that we talk about. I post some of the pictures and videos and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean the moon that was filmed in the desert? Yeah.
Yeah.
What else have they lied to us about?
I don't know.
We're just finding out more and more and more. Y'all just keep that white shit. We haven't had much snow this year, actually.
This is probably the most we've had for a while.
This is the most we've gotten, because all the other times have been like 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and then it's gone within a couple of days. We have not had much snow. They were first calling for 8, maybe 10 inches, and we were under a winter storm warning, but it must have went up more north or something. And then they just said about 2 to 4, and I went, "Oh, is that it?" We probably got close to 4, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't been out in it yet, so I don't know.
Tanya just said winter just showed up here last week. Yeah, we've had such a mild winter. It was crazy. Very little snow, warm weather.
Well, you know what they say about winter for us, in like a lamb, out like a lion. So I guess we can go into the cryptids if we're done with Tartaria. Are we done with Tartaria for a while?
Probably. The cryptid report.
That's pretty good.
Wasn't sure if I should do that one or was this one. Which one is better for the cryptid report?
That's you. That sounds like UFO to me.
So you like the other one? That is creepy.
Derek said we switched sides again. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
All we gotta do is this. Boom. How's that, Derek?
So
the second one sounds like Derek thinking.
Derek thinking. Thinking. Our GPS used to say that all the time. Thinking.
Yep. Thinking. Cryptid stories.
So here is. Let me make sure I got the right one. No, I'm gonna do the other one first.
Oh, come on. While we're waiting for you.
Let me go. Da, 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 da. So this is February 9th, 1855.
1855?
Yeah. So it says 170 years ago today, the devil's footprints are a bizarre and chilling mystery that still baffles and intrigues both skeptics and believers alike. What visited Devonshire in the middle of the night amidst a snowstorm? We simply may never know. Keep it creepy. So this is brought to us by Creepy Acres. And for February 9th, 1855, it says today in creepy history.
I think that's the oldest one we've found so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let me bring up the image and the story itself so everybody can see it as I'm reading it. That was what I read was just the little header or the description. And then they actually have a story to go along with this. So there's the actual image of the house and the footprints that they made an art rendering of it. And it says today in creepy history, 9th of February, 1855, the towns of Dwalish, Exmouth, Topsham, Limpstone, and Bigmouth, located in the south and east Devonshire, England. So this was in England, and it happened in several towns, evidently. So this not the one town.
Oh, so several houses had these footprints.
Several towns.
So several towns, which means a lot of houses.
So I don't know if it was just one house in each town or several houses in each town, but it was.
Oh my! Well, like Caleb said, this deserves a screaming goat. There you go, Caleb. You just said screaming goat.
So it says, located in the south and east of Devon and Devonshire, England, awakened to a bizarre and unnerving scene. A heavy snow had blanketed the area during the night. However, instead of being greeted in the morning by a pristine white wonderland or winter wonderland, they were instead met by a landscape marred by countless hoof prints.
Wow. It wasn't Santa Claus.
Some appear cloven, while others seemed shoed like a horse or donkey. Adding to the mystery is that the tracks appear as if it made by a bipedal creature. So you have cloven, which would be like a goat hoof, or like we think Satan or the devil is clove hoof. But then they said some of them were shoed like a horse or a donkey.
Oh,
but then there was only 2 tracks, like they were walking on bipedal.
Oh my.
So the tracks appears as if made by a bipedal creature, but perhaps more disturbing is that they are found in strange and impossible locations, on top of narrow walls, along rooftops, as well as in gardens and courtyards enclosed with high walls. So it's not like they're out in your yard, or like we just showed our deer tracks out in the garden. These are on top of their houses, like you would think reindeer or Santa would come.
And going up and
behind enclosed walls. So how did they get over the walls? Could they jump? Did they fly in? So the tracks also approached the doors of several homes, only to retreat for 100 miles. The tracks zigzagged through the towns and fields, like each step measuring just 8 inches.
Wow. No tracks on the inside? They didn't get indoors?
I guess not. They never got indoors, and they only reported foot tracks on their roofs and walls and
gnomes riding goats.
Oh, there you go. But there was only 2 feet, so it was like the goats still would have had to been walking on 2 legs. So while the creator of the Devil's Footprints, and that's what these are called, they're called the Devil's Footprints, was never identified, the same scenario would unfold 54 years later in Burlington, New Jersey, when a legend was that a certain devil came to town. So that would be the New Jersey Devil that they're talking about. So there you go. There's creepy history for February 9th. And this one happened in 1855. And then, as the story says, in New Jersey, it happened 54 years later. Then they got the story of the New Jersey Devil.
Ah. Yeah, and Derek said, I just dropped my Gatorade fit drink on my foot. Thanks, screaming goat. Gnomes with goat slippers.
So this one is
definitely.
This one is the newest one that they put out today in Creepy History, 12th and 13th February of 1953. So this one's more recent for actually our date right now.
But still older than us.
So it says 72 years ago today, Cadborosaurus willisii, or Caddy, as it is also known, was first reported in 1933. Since then, it has been witnessed numerous times. However, none may be spectacular as a sighting that took place in February 1953. Numerous people, of course, numerous people over the course of 2 days, all from different vantage points, all reported seeing the same thing, a creature said to only exist in folklore and myth. So this is Caddy, which is going to be like a
K-A-T-T-Y?
Like a Loch Ness Monster.
Is it Catty?
Caddy. C-A-D-D-Y.
Or CADD, not CATT. CAD, caddy.
Yeah, because it's in the Cadborosaurus willisi, or the Cadbury.
Cadbury egg.
Well, Cadbury is a place, so
Is that where Cadbury eggs come from?
I would assume.
Ah.
So now we will bring up their artwork and their story to go along with this. What?
Derek says, unfortunately, I have hobbit feet. Dwarf goes, your last name, Wampus, by chance?
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Firewater says it's nice that the rare occasion when something is older than us.
Right.
It's getting to be that way, isn't it?
Hi, Blues Cruise.
So this says today in creepy history, 12th to 13th of February 1953, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. R.D. Cockburn, C.P. Crawford, and Ron Loach spotted a creature with 3 humps near Qualsicum Beach as it swims in the Straits of Georgia. For 5 minutes, the 3 men watched the strange beast before 2 other men paddled out in a rowboat. So they actually went out in a rowboat. That's crazy. When they get about 20 feet from the animal, it quickly dives below the surface only to reappear 100 yards away. It's 50 foot long. Serpentine body is grayish or brown in color. It has a long neck, 2 large flippers, 2 small horns or ears on top of its dog-like head. Others believe the beast head resembles a camel, a horse, or even a seal. The next day, 10 more people from positions scattered about Quanticum Bay spot the same creature cavorting about the straight waters for about an hour or for over an hour. Sightings of Caddy, or as it is also known, Cadborosaurus willisi, continues to this day. So this is a rendition by the description. Well, that looks like a camel head to me, but they said dog-like head with ears or 2 horns. They're showing it like a horse where it has a mane and a long neck.
Looks more like a horse than a camel.
And it's got flippers, or almost like claws, but flippers. They said it was flippers. And it obviously has a giant long tail because it said it was 50 feet long, right? Is that what it said? 50 feet long? So if you guys are watching and looking at our video or our live instead of listening,
That's bizarre.
you can see an artist rendition of what a caddy looks like from the 12th and 13th of February 1953 in today's creepy history.
Looks like the mane's going down its back too, not just on its neck.
Right. So almost like dragon scales would go down its back. This has the mane going all the way down its back. But then the rest of it looks like it's skin or maybe scales. I don't know. But maybe it's a dragon.
Firewater.
Oh, wow. Huh. I don't know. Reminds me of a Bob and Tom song.
It's smiling.
Well, being a man, I prefer the second compared to the first. So there you go. There's creepy history for February 1953, and that's the closest one to the date where we are now. Da-da-da.
Dum-dum-dum. Very good. Very good.
So now what? Now what is it? Oh, we're not even till midnight yet.
Almost 2 hours. And then
I don't know what you got.
and then I don't know. And then yeah, Robin says great drawing. It does look like a dragon.
Yeah, I thought so. Other than the camel head, the description said dog head, but that looked like a camel head to me. But it would look more like a dragon or Loch Ness monster by the way they drew it. Let's see if I can bring this one up without kicking me off the live.
And you thinking that you almost accidentally stopped the stream last week?
Yeah, almost seemed like it. I thought
You thought,
I
yeah,
clicked it, but I must not have. Where should I put it?
I don't know. I don't know. You're being noisy back there.
Who is?
The thing on the floor.
Oh, the thing.
She's licking her feet and licking her legs. And then
So this is an interesting map.
oh, maps, yeah. Man, I love old maps.
Really?
We're going to get to the bottom of this. All of us in chat, we're going to put our common sense together and we're going to figure out what all this is. Why all the lies? Why all the hiding things? Hi, bud. Welcome in.
Bud Files. So here's a little bit of Chicago history. And this is Indian Trails of Villages of Chicago, Cook County, DuPage, and Will counties of Illinois, 1804.
1804.
And this actual image is copyrighted in 1900 and 1901 by Albert F. Scharf. And Scharf was a person that really loved like a archaeologist, but that wasn't his profession. He just liked it, and he picked Indians and Native Americans, and he actually went to all these sites and found all these villages and where they were in around, which would be Shalaga. So you can see the graph that you have Indian villages, minor Indian villages, Indian camps, shipping stations, Indian trails. Yeah, he had marked the springs. He had marked the Indian mounds, the effigy lizard mound, which is in the south of Chicago. You can go there, and there's actually a shape of a lizard in a mound. I think I might have that picture too somewhere.
Welcome in, Bounty Bear. Bounty Hunting Bear.
So there's more to this map. This is this upper and part of Chicago area, but he actually, in his life before he passed away, started spreading out further and further, like towards Rockford and down south of Chicago. And a lot of these trails that he went on to find these, he would ride his bike. So he covered all of northern Illinois on his bicycle, going up and down these trails, or trying to find these trails on hikes. And
in the early 1800s.
Yep.
They had bicycles then?
Well, no, 1804 was when these counties, I believe, were established, if I'm reading this right.
Okay, I thought he trailed these in.
He did in early 1900s and late 1800s,
Alright.
probably.
All right, that makes more sense. Okay.
But the copyright for this map of his, when it finally got published, was 1900 and 1901. And there's books and videos and everything out on this.
Firewater, you don't have to get dressed. Stay in your pajamas, girl. That's what we do. We're always in our jammies.
Yeah, if we're at home, I'm in leisure pants or pajamas, and I put on a shirt for the show. Other than that, I have a sweatshirt or hoodie or something else on. Or
I'm in my Bigfoot pants right now. Stay in your jammies, girl.
if you don't have to, don't worry about it. Relax.
You don't have to get dressed. Look at how people dress in Walmart.
Yeah.
They had flying bicycles in 1805. Yeah.
They did?
Who knows what they had back then? They destroyed or given it to the Smithsonian.
Oh, this is the map I should have.
Once we get all these disclosures, of JFK and all these things that are supposed to, come out and tell us the truth, why don't they open up the Smithsonian and let us know what they're hiding?
Well, we know what they're hiding.
I bet there's stuff in there that we don't know that they got. Let alone the Vatican. They got miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
Miles and miles.
I still say they have the Alexandria library stuff. It wasn't destroyed. I think the Vatican took it.
So here is a bigger rendition of all the trails that he mapped out.
Oh, wow.
So before it was just this main trail going down the shoreline on the other map. So the rest of his life before he passed away, he started venturing out farther and farther out in Illinois and did the exact same thing. He marked all the little villages and campsites and where they hunted and the routes and the trails that they would take to go from one village or one area to another. So there you go. So you can find all these maps, or some of the maps, not all of them, online. Or there's people that have collected them. And these are all in a museum, by the way. So you can go see his original maps and take pictures of them or screen captures or whatever. But you can also buy books that people have printed them that have a collection of his maps. So I thought that was cool that somebody actually mapped out and traveled down the trails that the Indians and Native Americans used.
Cool. And then?
I don't know. What do you got?
I don't have anything.
What do you mean you don't have? You got all kinds of stuff. I know you do.
In my mind.
In your mind?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this and trying to figure out that and trying to figure out this.
Well, I ain't got anything figured out. I'm just finding stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying going down these videos these last several nights and finding more pictures of old world stuff that I've never seen before all these years.
Let's see. What else should we look at?
Artemis, welcome in.
Hi, Artemis.
Nice to see you.
I like Player One, by the way, the movie. I don't know if that's what you're doing your name after, or actually the.
I'm pretty sure he was always in Chloe's chat. If I
I mean,
remember
I
right.
mean the name Artemis. Artemis is a character's name in Player One, but it's also an ancient philosopher.
Welcome in, Artemis.
All right, what else should we do?
Guardians of the Galaxy. That's such a good movie. He says, nah, just a messy artist.
Oh, okay.
Hence Artemis.
Oh, RT Met.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I just keep thinking of a song for Firewater, the way they're talking about her rocker and not falling. Sexy walker. I'm too sexy for my walker. Too sexy for my walker. Now I've got her singing that song, don't I?
Yeah.
And dance with it. I'm too sexy for my walker. So what you finding?
Well, I'm looking to see if I want to bring up another map or an article or what I want to do.
Normally you last more than 2 hours. What's your problem?
Who's that?
The dog. She's whining now.
Well, you know,
You're going to go upstairs with the cats.
she probably wants to go outside. So I don't think she's been out in a while.
You got to go outside. Is that why you're whining? All right, hold on.
So I'll bring this one up.
And I'll take her potty.
Or I think I will. So we were talking earlier about dictionaries and encyclopedias of history of the United States before 1910. And if you look at this, it says, according to the geography of the U.S. history, it says vast remains of ancient fortification, embankments, stone walls, earthen mounds, and later containing rude stone coffins filled with human bones have been discovered within the precincts of this town, and many curious articles dug up composed of jasper, rock crystal, canal coal, copper, representations of different substance altogether, tending to prove that this country was formerly inhabited by a race of men very different from the present American Indians. So these are in history books before the 1900s. This article, I think, came from a history, the Book of the United States, which was 1886, I believe. So this is coming, like I said, it was oral stories passed down from the leaders or the different tribes, and there's several different ones printed of each tribe giving their rendition of what they found or what they ran across when they came to the U.S. or the United States or North America, I guess I should say. So I thought that was interesting.
It's cold outside.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's supposed to be in winter.
Yeah, isn't tomorrow the day that's supposed to be extremely cold?
Yeah, right after this snowstorm, we're supposed to get a
Oh, my goodness.
big dip in temperature.
It's 21 degrees right now. Feels like 17. Yeah, tomorrow's high is 17. It's supposed to be 17 tomorrow. This temperature. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Ooh, we've got more cold weather next week, Monday and Tuesday. No. Now we're hotboxing the chat.
We are. Somewhere, I thought.
Burr. Didn't you say we're supposed to have high winds coming in too?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know. I assumed the high winds were coming with the drop in temperature, but I didn't know 100%.
Oh, Tanya says it's 12 there, storm coming in. Yeah, our storm is almost done. I think it's supposed to be done like 3 in the morning. It's still snow flurrying a little bit. And then you said, what, another chance of snow or Saturday maybe? But yeah, if you're out east, this storm is coming. And boy, is it cold. And no, I don't like taking the doggie out in the winter. Even though I'm not actually outside with her, I'm in the sunroom freezing to death, waiting for her to find her little spot. Good night, Daryl. Thank you for stopping in.
Daryl's going.
And Daryl's going to bed. It's getting late. Guess we need a sound effect of saying good night or something.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Good night.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
That means it's time to go to bed.
So everybody knows about the Ohio serpent mounds, right? How it's an earthen mound and it's in the shape of a snake or a serpent, and how it lines up with the moons and equinoxes for the summer and winter solstice. What are you doing?
Is Chloe still over on Rumble? Artemis says, who else misses Chloe? But she told me she needs time out until dynamics, energy, potential targeting, settling down. She popped up in our Rumble just, what, about a half
She was
an hour
over there
ago?
just a little bit ago. She was also saying the same thing about she's just waiting for the right time to come back.
She says she'll be back. Yes, we miss her terribly. I'm about ready to go binge watch a bunch of her old shows. Which I probably could do. Just go back about a year or so and just start watching shows. Yeah, sometimes people just need time out. If she don't come back, we'll hunt her down and make her come back. So if you're still in Rumble, Chloe, we miss you and we love you.
I don't think she's typed in for a while. It was a little while ago.
Does it show how many's in there?
I don't know.
I think you said there was like
9.
9. Oh, there's 9 over in
We have
Rumble.
9 people in Rumble.
Hey, welcome in Rumble.
Well, what do you want to talk about now?
I don't know. Where's all of our people in here that used to do dad jokes and stuff? Blazer went to bed.
Well, Blazer hasn't been feeling good either, so.
Well, we're past our. Hey, we didn't get the echo tonight. It's been around 2 hours.
Oh, nice. Oh, I'm slowly going through all my pictures and stuff, trying to find another map that I want to.
I got a bunch of pictures, but I don't think I have any maps.
Here, we can do this one for a
Firewall.
cryptid. I
That's
can do
right.
this one for a cryptid report. I don't think I've ever brought this one up.
Firewater's out west. It's only 10 o'clock there.
Oh wow, early for there.
It is now February 13th.
All right.
12/11, 1211.
Getting close to Valentine's Day, and I think Cisco wants to film or show a movie on Rumble on Valentine's. I think that's what she said. So here's a good one for you.
I'm sorry, Firewater, so I hide it.
What's that? Oh yeah, the smoking.
Yeah, she said she's got to quit since she was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I should too, probably.
So here in Illinois, we have Bigfoot sightings, we have werewolf sightings, we have dogman sightings, we have Mothman sightings heavily in Chicago.
DuPont, where's DuPont?
Up by Chicago. You can see where
Okay,
Lake
yeah,
Michigan
okay,
is.
yeah. All right.
Okay. So the original DuPont recording is where this green square or rectangle is, and it says reports of the DuPont monster between 1960s and 2015. Well, here in April of 2024, we had one right above where the original one was. It says the return of the DuPont monster, April 30th, 2024. Very credible 2 witnesses, daylight road crossing sightings 2 miles south of Plano and 20 miles north of a dozen or so reports along the Illinois River between 1960s and 2015.
Oh my.
So if you go to BFRO network, you can read about that sighting in April of 2024 of the Plano or DuPont monster, which is our version or their version of the Bigfoot.
I didn't know we had a DuPont monster. That's something new.
Well, it's not new, but yeah, we just haven't really talked about it that much. Like I said, I've been slowly gathering reports of Bigfoot, werewolves, Mothman reports, so we can do a show or start bringing them up also during our cryptid reports.
Still got snow coming down.
All right, Priestess and Lady in the Lake is still in our Rumble. They're talking back and forth.
Oh, so Chloe is still over there.
Yeah.
Hey, Artemis, if you have a Rumble account, find us over there on Rumble. Chloe's over there right now. Either that or Chloe, come over here. Awesome. And she must have heard us say we miss her and we love her. Aw, he just switched to Rumble and subscribed. Yay!
Thank you.
You'll find Chloe. What'd you say her handle was?
Priestess 101.
Priestess 101 is Chloe.
Oh, there's only a couple people in chat, so
Okay.
it'd be easy to tell.
I was going to say something and I forgot. I
don't know.
1215. I was going to say, I should probably send some of these pictures over to you sometime.
No, you can just share them yourself.
Off my tablet?
Off your tablet, or send them to the computer. And
I think they're still on here. I think I saved them because I know I was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Where are they?
I don't know.
I've got so many camera videos. Bigfoot ate my bacon. There they are. Wow.
Well, I got so many.
Look at that.
Yeah.
My gosh, the details on that.
Wow.
And those are big, big doors.
Well, I will take by next week, I will take a bunch of these maps and put them together so we can just go through maps, I think.
And continue on with this. Yeah, this is interesting. Maybe I'll start screenshotting, and I got to go back to some of those videos that I saw the other night with all the melded stuff and
The one I really, I mean, I have so many different maps that are old world and of times before supposedly people were actually exploring, but yet they had geography and the shapes of the continents and everything right. But then in the middle of Chloe came over to YouTube.
Hey, but Artemis might be over there. Artemis, if you're on Rumble, come back to YouTube. Chloe's over here. Hi, Chloe. We love you. We miss you. And Firewater says, how is it that we can remember every song from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and still walk into the kitchen and wonder why we were there? That is true.
That is true.
And Chloe, we're talking about old world buildings, and some of these videos that I was watching, they're showing some of the old world buildings that's even over in Australia.
Well, here, I'll bring this up.
And what were these old world buildings? That's what we're trying to figure out.
I'll bring up a couple more pictures of maps. Just because we got time and nothing better to do.
She says music uses the whole brain. And we're just using part of our brain when we go into the kitchen and go, why did I do that? I go upstairs and I look at you like, why did I come upstairs? I don't know.
I don't.
We don't know. Yeah, because music is more fun than kitchen work.
So I found a map, and I'm sure other people may have or may not have talked about yet, but it's like an Icelandic, and it's supposed to be like one of the best monster maps or creature maps from the old world.
They had to have gone inside the inner Earth or something. I think we had a period of time that they were all out here, and whatever happened, or maybe they knew this big mud flood or whatever happened to all these old world buildings. Maybe that's when they went inside the inner Earth.
So this is an old map, and I believe it's the Icelandic map they call it, but I'll have to look when we get ready to do a show on it or something. I was going to do this one on Jessica's channel, but we never got to it yet. We're going to Cryptus Hundredus. We're going to come back on and talk about old world maps again and sea monsters, but haven't done it yet. So
now we got both Aussies in here.
So this old map is divided in these sections
because it was so big.
Well, I think they did it easier for people. They took, they might have been in individual panels and you put them together for the whole map, but it's easier for people online to
look in different parts.
Look at them different that way. So here is what section D is.
Section D. What? Look at all the water creatures.
That's what I said. This is like the best map for, and each section has tons of them. Plus, when you start zooming in on these things, you can see them even on land. They have things, but here, look how big this one up here is.
Oh my gosh! Chloe said, apparently there has been 6 eras of civilizations on this planet, come and gone, and Egyptian priests from Plato's writings spoke of this. Yeah, because we're all curious, like, how many resets have we had?
Well, I always say there was at least 5, so I don't know.
Wow.
And I'm thinking we got another one coming.
Yeah. I think we're all sensing that. Something about to change.
So if you go back and look at this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, if you go and you get all these panels and start looking at them, you find all these different monsters. And then they have, like, each monster has a letter and number by it. So they kind of tell you what they are.
Oh, wow.
So it's all they're even on this map, they're saying that these were actually have characteristics and they describe what they were and what they did. And
there is names on the land. Does that say Tile?
Yeah, I don't know what that stands for or what. I mean, if you look at the map, you can tell. If I would have brought up the one that didn't have this one's kind of blurry, but I got a better one somewhere. And you can actually tell what part of the world this is. I think I want to say over by Italy or I don't know. I better not say Europe, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, Iceland. It's an Icelandic map, I believe. So Iceland, wherever.
And each reset probably shook up the whole planet, that changed the formation of all these lands. Every single different time we had a reset.
Then there's actually a map, and I have it somewhere where there's a line between continents that certain animals will not cross.
Really?
Even birds that fly in the air, it goes right in. It divides the oceans even. So even animals that are in the oceans won't cross against that line and go to the other side where the other animals are, and the other animals won't cross the other way.
Different frequency?
I don't know. You have to look it up. There's a whole theory on it, but that's how you got animals on the Galapagos Islands that you can't find anywhere else because of that line. they wouldn't cross that line.
Chloe just said pole shifts. Aren't we supposed? Are we still getting that solar number 5 flare or whatever this week or anything? Or did it already happen? Or did you?
I think it's happened the last couple of nights, but
Okay.
everybody's internet and everything's been going wonky here lately. But tonight's been pretty good so far. So
Robin said, I want that map. So
she wants that map. All right. Yes, I like collecting old. I like physically to have old books, but if I can't afford them or I can't find them, I'll dig online till I find a old hand bookstore that has like maybe a page of it on their website, or like I said, the Library of Congress has a lot of books and you can screen capture, and you can go to Smithsonian has a lot of maps and you can screen capture them.
Oh, we can see what's in the Smithsonian?
Well, what they'll let you see.
Yeah, that's my point.
And the Monday map, that's in a church, or it was in a church, and now it's in a museum.
Oh, that yeah,
that other one had the blemmies and dogmen and serpents and all kinds of stuff on it. That's a great map to look at. I love that map too. But that was in a church, so a lot of old texts and old maps are in scripts and scrolls in churches, and this was buried in the back, and they just happened to be cleaning it out, and they were actually going to throw stuff away, but they discovered that map was in there.
Because it wasn't a church back then. It was a healing center. That's why all the creatures, if there was blemmies and all these crazy creatures, they needed to go to the healing center and listen to those bells and pipe organs and get healed by frequency also. Blemmies map in a church. You don't know what a blemmy is. They don't have a head. Their eyeballs and their face is on their chest. They're a headless person with the face on the chest. They are strange looking, but they say they were around. They're on a lot of old maps, those blemmies.
But they had dragons on those maps. They had blemmies. They had what we would consider Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
Yeah, Bigfoot is a lot of on those maps. Yep.
Then they had the wild men, or the underground creatures that were hidden in caves and would come out and were cannibals.
Ew.
So that goes right along with the giants and coming out of caves and eating people.
For a little snack. Just a tiny little snack. Oh my, it's starting to snow heavier again. Wee.
Monisha wants the map too. Which one? There's tons of them. Icelandic monster map?
Well, we'll collect a bunch of maps. We'll continue this next Wednesday, and you can go back to the show and screenshot all you want. They are interesting. Yeah, when we were on Jessica's show, we were showing a lot of.
Well, we started off doing the flat Earth map,
which we were going. What if?
Yeah, that what if this was true, and then we did started doing the monster maps and all kinds of stuff. I have so many maps saved. I have some on my phone. I have some on our tablet. I have some on our computer, and it's like I got to put them all together, and we'll do a show on it.
Oh, Monisha, we will pray. I'm lifting her up right now. We don't have to speak it all out loud. It's just unspoken, and it's already delivered. Everyone pray for Monisha's grandma. She had too many strokes, and she's in the hospital right now.
Absolutely.
Amen.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Fire, water, maybe. I'm not from here.
Fire.
Where are you from? We don't know where we're from. We don't know what year we're in.
Could be 1,000 years
We
ago.
don't know our past history. They won't tell us.
Bunch of liars. This when you think you're figuring something out, you find out that that's not true. It's like, really?
Yeah. You go down these rabbit holes and you end up finding another rabbit hole and you're going, what?
Then they change it on you then.
Yeah. And then you got to change your opinion and your mind all over again.
Well, here's what I found, and I think it's true. Then you find something else that says, well, here's what really happened before this happened.
Oh, and we're supposed to believe all this, right?
So here's our newest one
Dum dum dum.
that we will probably someday be talking either on, well, definitely on our show, but we'll be probably doing a show of Jessica the Cryptid Huntress someday.
And we're waiting.
So I'll get these zipped over to the computer. If I would have thought about it, I could have had it all uploaded and ready to go. It'd be a lot easier instead of you guys waiting for me, but you know, that's the way it is.
They're looking for Dwarfy.
They found out already.
I think Dwarfy left.
He's probably live somewhere.
Dwarfy's having fun. At the bottom of the rabbit hole is a giant Lamberth. Yep. And you find out they lied about this too. Oh, he is still in here.
So here's an AI rendition going by Flat Earth and by what Atlantis possibly could have been.
And once again, we are not saying we believe in flat Earth. We are looking at all these old maps, and
this isn't even ours. This isn't even our theory. This is just an AI or a rendition of a description gotten out of like either Plato or what flat Earth could look like.
I still say it's both. We probably have a flat Earth.
You have the flat Earth, and you have the rings, just like Atlantis is described as of having
the ice walls.
And then you have the stars and the moons and the planets over top, and kind of like a firmament a little bit.
So AI came up with this, huh?
And then this is what if flat Earth and a dome or the firmament gave us the illusion of a globe.
They're making that look like the ice wall separated from the land.
Well, if you read the descriptions of some of the stories of people going through the canals and channels and stuff, that there's different lands beyond the ice wall. And so that might have been a separation to keep people from going.
So I take it this is AI also.
This is also AI description. So this is basically a description of the firmament, but it also gives you the illusion of it being a dome with the flat Earth inside.
I know you've heard
a lot of times
egg shapes. There's so many different shapes you've heard.
A lot of times when you go down this rabbit hole, you think, okay, the Earth is a globe. Well, that's what we've been taught our whole lives. That's what we believe in. And then you hear these stories about planes not having to adjust for the curve, or the people out on the ocean say, you know, I should be able to, when I look at the horizon, it's perfectly flat. Water's perfectly flat. Well, that shouldn't happen on a globe.
I know. Like I said on Jessica's show, when we were doing this map and the debate was already happening in chat, we're going, we're not saying we believe this. We're just saying these maps are showing No,
So then you go
on
you go
land
you go
base.
to Australia, and they got a bigger, longer straight highway and a straight desert that's perfectly flat, and you cannot see any curvature any whatsoever on that land at all. You can actually have two people standing 60 miles apart and can still see each other. So how does that happen on a globe when you're supposed to be dropping so many inches per mile? How can you be 60 miles apart standing on the same area, flat ground, and not have any curvature? You can see head to toe of each other.
Hi, T-Bone.
So this rendition is saying, well, what if we're a globe and flat at the same time? What if the dimensions, or dimensionally, we are a globe in some aspects and flat Earth on some aspects? I don't know. It's just something to think about. Something that's cool. I like to think about it. I mean, I'm still thinking we're a globe, but at the same time, some of these explanations for flat Earth make sense to me. So I don't know.
Well, we've looked into it, like we were saying on Jessica's show, there is pros and cons to both. If you do dive down that rabbit hole just to see what they're saying, there's evidence on both sides. So I'm going to say, so they've lied to us about everything. It's probably both. There's probably a flat area, but we're also shaped. But we've heard pear-shaped, we've heard egg-shaped, perfectly round.
I don't know.
Will we ever know the truth?
But like Two Shadows, I've seen all those maps where if you actually go by real life size instead of map size, that, compared to the US and Antarctica and Greenland and all that, all the sizes are so much different than what they're portrayed on a globe that we had in school or a map that you would see.
But then another theory is we're looking at dimensions. Are we on a globe, or is this a realm? Is this just a dimension, a realm? Do we have to have a shape to it?
And that's what we brought up on that original show of Jessica the Cryptid Huntress, that I brought those maps, and beyond the ice walls, they had other continents or lands that were Atlantis, Mars. What were some of the other ones? I'd have to get those maps back out, but there was all kinds of them, and supposedly they were like dimensions or even portals that you can go. Say somebody from Mars or Martians or aliens wanted to come to us. It was just like they were just hopping.
Yeah, we're using stargates and portals and jump rooms because they're not really.
They're just right there on the other side of the ice wall. So that made sense to us. Like you wouldn't have to travel interdimensionally or from another galaxy that takes however long, because that's the biggest thing now that we have about going to Mars. How long will it take us to get to Mars? If we actually send somebody by rocket. Well, what if Mars is just on the other side of the ice wall and it's just its own little land, and there's like a jump point, a wormhole back and forth between them? It'd be instantaneous.
Right. Now, like Two Shadows says, Africa is actually much larger than those maps show. And welcome in, Two Shadows.
I don't know if I have that map on here or not.
T-Bone says Antarctica map from the 1500s forest.
T-Bone, we need to get a hold of you about Printify, by the way. Send us an email at midwestnightwatchers@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, we can say it now. T-Bone, you said you ordered something. We don't see it on our end in our store. So did you order something from our store? Because we didn't get notified, and I checked. I do not see you on the list that you ordered anything. So that's why we wanted to get a hold of you through email. So you did order something we are not seeing on our end.
Yeah, so if you ordered from our Printify shop, we didn't receive an order.
And it's not on the list saying that it's, you didn't, did you receive it already? Because it's definitely not on our list. We might have to call Printful. So email us at Gmail. Midwest Night Watchers, gmail.com, and let us know what you ordered. If you have an order number, that would help.
If you ordered or didn't order, just let us know one way or another.
He said he will check and make sure. Yeah, because we normally get a notification So I went over there, and Daryl, that's usually in our chat, is the last person that ordered the t-shirt. So I don't see a new one. And I know we can do international now.
I hope I have that map on here. It might be on the computer upstairs, or
Which map you talking about?
the original map we did with Jessica on Flat Earth. Since we were talking about dimensions,
You
and
mean with
portals.
the land past the ice wall?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what I all have in my list down here.
I'm sure I have it. I just got to go back far enough to find it.
Do 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 do.
So since we brought it up, if anybody would like to go to Midwest Night Watchers at Printful, you can find our shop, and we have t-shirts and hats and all kinds of cool stuff. If you'd like to order anything, that'd be appreciated. If you guys are into that, we have all our logos, the Midwest Night Watcher logos, the Night Owl Lounge logos, Chiro Sounds. We have some Bigfoot stuff.
No, I don't have any maps on my tablet. Yeah,
I know I got them. I just don't know if I have them on here or not. That's the only problem. Aha, found them.
Really? Yay!
So we will go. We will go with the overall map.
Overall,
Yeah, it shows
Mars takes 15 minutes from an Earth when teleport, apparently, from under Hilton Hotel. We've heard that from the super soldiers and stuff. Yeah, they get to go to Moon, the Mars, and everything just through these portals and stargates. We do not have to travel 500,000 light years until you get there. Especially in Hilton's. Oh, yeah. If nobody's heard that, go down the Hilton Hotel rabbit hole. They got little jump rooms all over the place. Restaurants have them in the bathrooms. You see people go in the bathroom and not come back out. Yep, T-bone, 20 in backs. Yep. They say all they got to do is just poof, they're there. Yes, that's it.
So there's the map that we originally did on Jessica's, and I have each area zoomed in so you can read it better and stuff. So the very center is where we live, all the continents that we have on our globe: Australia, Asia, North America, South America, Africa, all that. But then if you go through the straits,
Get past the ice wall.
You get past the ice wall, then you have the Anunnakis, you have Asgard, you have Thoth, which would be like Atlantis.
Now, see, Atlantis is up on top, isn't it? Isn't that Atlantis and up on top?
Yeah, but here's moving lands of Thoth.
Oh, okay.
And Atlantis was supposed to be, Thoth was supposed to be the ruler over Atlantis. And you got Lemuria, which would be Mu, and Atlantis, which they had wars back and forth between. And Chloe did a show or talked about that with us about it.
Yeah, the Mu.
Yep, the Mu, Lemuria is a Mu, and Atlantis. Then you got Death Island and Talos and Mermaid Lands, and then there's other ones outside of that even.
Okay, so we got an ice wall and then a mountain ring, according to this map. A mountain ring and an ice wall ring.
We'll have to do a show on it.
Yeah.
I'll have to bring up all the maps that I got of it.
And just think about the Game of Thrones, and they're guarding that ice wall. It's like disclosure.
So this one, I'll bring the other one up.
And that would explain a lot of people, saying that they're questioning if the UFOs that we're seeing is actually from this Earth. It's either ours or from this Earth. Well, this kind of map would explain that. All they got to do is just kind of go on the warp speed and, so head over to where they're from.
So this map that we're showing now is an up close map of our lands and what's on the outside closest to us.
Wow.
So
What if? We got to just start doing a new show called What If? Not that we fully believe it, but if you go down the rabbit hole and dig.
So here's the bigger map. So
Yeah.
what I just showed you was in the center here of Earth and the rings. So then beyond that, you have lands of Venus. You have the Pleiades. You have Anunnakis. You have the land of angels. You have Saturn. You have land of Mars, Draco, the dragons, Orions. So this is where you get into the portals, where they all have connections where they can go back and forth if they're allowed. Some of them aren't allowed to go back and forth between each other because they don't get along, obviously. But they can come visit us anytime they want, and certain people from Earth can go to their lands because they have agreements with them, or whether it's the people in the secret programs or.
So what if they are actually on these land masses past the rings, and that's why they're flying around and getting the places super fast instead of actually going to what they're saying, that's the moon and Mars and everything.
There's Gilgamesh. And
so there's a place just called Pleiades. Is there 7 islands on that? Zoom that back in. Is there 7?
Well, it gets blurry, but there is.
Okay.
There is the other inside the Pleiades. So the 7 sisters. So the 7 sisters would have their own place where they rule.
This is wild.
Then there's Shangri-La.
Free islands.
That's Shangri-La.
Shangri-La.
So that's where peace and tranquility is. And there's Osiris. It says the deepest ocean. And I mean, so and I got screenshots or where you can actually get in better and more clear shots of each of these lands that they're describing.
Lands of Venus.
So you got Ruth and Isabella, Gregory.
Islands of Dinosaur, like Jurassic Park. There probably is.
That's probably over here. I don't know. Like I said, I got individual pictures of each of these. Lands of Jupiter. The lands of custodians. There you go. That's supposedly the people.
Custodians.
So the custodians are the ones that are supposed to be overall like the gods. Like you would have like the Greek gods on Mount Olympus.
Oh.
Custodians, the ones that are in charge of everything. So this was the original map that we did on Jessica's show, and we broke it all down and talked about each one, about what if this exists and how would you get back and forth. And
yeah, I think we'll continue this next Wednesday and really dig into more of these.
So we might pick one map. Yeah. So it'll be a multi-show thing. We'll go over one map, and I'll have all the images for one map, and we'll go over them.
Wonder what their buildings look. I mean, if this is legit, we're not.
You know what their buildings look like? They're like the ones that we just showed earlier tonight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they've got buildings, did they come over and help? I mean, you just don't know. There's just so many mysteries.
So actually, I have so many maps I can't even remember, because every day or every week I'm finding something new. I go down a rabbit hole, like, oh, I haven't seen that map before, so I'll save it. But I never actually go back for a while to look at it because I'm on to something else, something new, or preparing for somebody's show. I mean, we got a Tartarian show, Mud Flood, coming up for Dr. John Stamey on scarycast.com. So we got that coming up, and we got our shows, and I got Road Less Travel with Dr. Dennis Carroll every Monday night. We go over different subjects. So besides preparing for our shows, even though it looks like we're not very prepared for our Wednesday night show.
We're not prepared for Wednesday night.
It's just a free for all, whatever we want to talk about other than cryptids and UFOs. But our piercing the veils, we have guests, so I still have to prepare for this Sunday and Monday, and if we do a movie night on Friday or Saturday or both nights, then I have to get the movies ready for that, and Twilight Zones or Outer Limits or Night Gallery or whatever we're going to show that night. So I have to do that yet. So it's a lot, I guess. I'm trying.
Let alone going through videos and going down our own rabbit holes.
Yeah, so we spend the rest of the time finding our own stuff, and
I mean, the more I dig into these old world buildings, the more I'm looking at them going, humans did not make this. I want to get to the bottom of it.
someday somebody will let me release the woo on their stream.
Release what woo? You got woo?
I remember when I first heard of Derek when he SOR, he kept asking Dave to come on. And it just never happened, I guess. I don't remember.
Carol, we don't want you to be bored.
I know.
Going down rabbit holes, how can you be bored going? And then you find more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes. And then I'm staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning going, okay, I better go to bed. Stop watching these videos. But they're so fascinating.
I mean, I brought out since we've been going down Tartaria and World's Fairs, I got a book from the Chicago expedition that talks about American or U.S. or world history. And it has all the pictures and stuff of the World's Fair from Chicago and all the displays and stuff in it. And I brought it out that one night, and Jane goes, "Where'd you get that?" And I said, "Well, out of our book cabinet, our curio cabinet back there. I've had it since I was a kid. My parents got it from somebody else that collected books, and they got it from a private collection from somebody that had it in the 1800s. So I got all kinds of books that I haven't even personally I've looked at them, but I haven't actually went through them now that we're going down these avenues and looking up stuff. T-Bone, Dave's not here. Dave's not here, man. So yeah, my relaxing time is actually going through videos and pictures and websites and listening to everybody else's channels. And so other than being here with you or on other people's shows, I spend my time researching and reading and looking for pictures and stuff to share and to talk about. And yeah, H.H. Holmes and the World's Fair. I got that book, The Devil in the White City, where H.H. Holmes had his traps and in his building for unexpected newcomers to Chicago during the time of the World's Fair, and they all met their demise. And I think maybe one or a couple of them got out of there alive, but most of them did not. And actually, that the incinerator, I believe the incinerator that H.H. Holmes used is still in the basement, which would be part of the Chicago post office. I think the incinerator is still there, but I don't think they use it. I think it's blocked off, and they only let certain people down there or know about it or see it.
Yeah, the old maps that showed giants. What did I miss here?
We were talking about H.H. Holmes and the World's Fair in Chicago, where he lured all those newcomers, especially women that were coming into the city for a cheap room to stay, but it was actually a murder house.
Wow. spent all that money and traveling to the World's Fair.
Yeah, it just happened to be during the World's Fair, but it was going on before that, I believe. And young girls would come to the big city to either try to make it in the industry, for not necessarily movies, but in become an actress or whatever, because Chicago still had a big town for plays, and they had their own kind of Broadway there, and it was a stepping stone, to become famous. And they would take jobs and they would stay at this homes because he'd make it so cheap. It'd be the cheapest place in town to rent. Well, there was a reason for that, because he was trying to lure them in.
Wow.
Yeah, the Ripper, yeah, just like a Jack the Ripper. We showed Kolchak Night Stalker, the episode The Ripper, which is based off of Jack the Ripper. And the stories say that Jack the Ripper came from Europe or England and came to the U.S., traveled to the U.S., and that's when, especially the Boweries of New York, that Ripper incidences continued. They thought there was two separate people, but now there's speculation that it was the same person that came to the U.S. to get away from the crimes over there and start committing them here. And then there was like a reincarnation story about how Jack the Ripper was either a walk-in or a reincarnation into somebody else, and that evil spirit continued. And there's been copycat Jack the Rippers throughout time. So that's a whole rabbit hole right there, just Jack the Ripper. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, the Royals and Jack the Ripper. There's been so many different suspects.
Member of the Inner Royals was Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, there's so many different people. They've speculated over time. They thought, okay, they were looking at doctors because of the precision of the way that the bodies were dismembered, and there was also royalty and all kinds of people that were speculated, but they never really tried or convicted anybody of that. And speaking of the Royals, I just came around a rabbit hole that the Royals actually were bankrupt. The Queen and the whole royal family has all these precious jewels and places that they actually did not have any money. And they sold their birthrights to other families that did have money to gain money for their children or promise of children. So they sold off just like in the old days where you made arranged marriages. Well, this was kind of different than that, where basically your daughters or sons of the royals would be promised to other families to sire children. They didn't even have to get married. And it was all other names. I mean, look down the rabbit hole. I mean, you can look up Rockefellers and all the people behind all the money and control in the world.
Like Derek said, Jack the Ripper looked like Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Robin said, what if Saint Germain was Jack the Ripper?
Well, that's speculated too. Jack Germain was supposed to be a vampire, but then there was speculation that the Ripper was a vampire.
Chloe,
if you look up that rabbit hole, though, about the royals and marrying off their children or giving their children away for money, and that's what funded the royal family, and that's how they became wealthy and stayed wealthy all this time with the crown jewels and all the fancy stuff, was because these other families supported them and gave them money for taking away their children and birthrights.
And Chloe says the woman he unalived all knew about one of the young royal queen's Victoria's sons marrying a woman out of wedlock. So the Ripper cleaned up the Royals' mess. I think the Royals still have a mess today.
So supposedly it's still going on to this day that if you look up the marriages or the mistresses or however you want to go about it, that the royals or the connection to the royal families and even around the family tree outskirts is all tied into these like 4 or 5 families that people in our field that we tend to talk about. Those names that come up popping up all the time are all connected to the royals.
Either them or all roads lead to Rome.
Well, Rome still exists today.
Well, all the royals, they're all Catholic anyway, aren't they? So they're connected to Rome. They're all Catholic, right?
Well, originally, I mean, you still have some people that are Protestants or whatever, but yeah, generally they're all
The royals are.
tied to I'll say tied to the church.
Huh.
But yeah, that's a deep rabbit hole if you start looking it up. And the royal family that's in existence now is not the true royals that should be running the throne. They stole that also. Ooh, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, that's a good subject of Dracula. We had we had Dacre Stroker on our show. His great uncle, if I'm saying that right, was Bram Stoker that wrote Dracula and based off of Vlad the Impaler. And we've talked to Danielle Diva, the Duchess, and her relative comes off of Vlad the Impaler. So that's a very interesting conversation. So we've went 3 hours. So do you got anything else you want to talk about, Jane?
Hold on 1 second.
Getting ready to end it.
I'm writing a message real quick.
All right. So who's all still in chat? What do you guys want to talk about? If you want us to keep going, we can keep going down this route or we can pick something new. Man, we got 12 people in Rumble, it says. Welcome, everybody in Rumble. Hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. I know we are. We love having this conversation with everybody in chat. So,
all right, boom.
Boom. I don't know who you're talking to, but that's
I'm talking to Dwarfy in Telegram. I just sent him 2 quick little videos of crazy buildings and stuff, and he just wrote back things. And I just said, yeah, the message is crazy and the amazing buildings. You just
Firewater is not tired yet. All right.
Enjoying the talk.
Well, we got 15 in chat here, or 15 watching our show live on YouTube, and we got 13 over on Rumble. So thanks, everybody.
Keep talking about the royal bloodline. We'll probably get a Wikipedia notice underneath her.
That's all right. I don't care if they do that.
Yeah, you look down that rabbit hole, you'll find out they're all reptilians.
So we got the lady in Congress talking a lot of stuff about some big stuff getting ready to come out about aliens and government and stuff. And there's a kind of a hush-hush whistleblower coming out saying that there's living Palladians inside the government that's been there for a long time.
Living Palladians?
Yes. That's been inside the government working And even, some of those pictures that we see every once in a while of like a Secret Service or a man walking
Yeah.
that kind of looks different.
Some have said that tall one in that picture is a Pleiadian. Yeah, I've seen, but that was 4 years ago when all these things were coming out saying Michael Jackson was alive and everybody's alive, and you didn't know what to believe back then. Oh, interesting. But is Val Thor a Pleiadian, or is he's something else, isn't he?
Oh,
Chloe would know. I don't think Valiant Thor is a Pleiadian, though. Interesting.
But anyway, they're starting to talk about that and talking about the ones that don't come out in public, or most people don't even know. Even the people in the government, a lot of them don't even know. I mean, they think they know. They think they've heard rumors, but they've never actually saw them or deep down in the bowels of our government. But
they're probably living in a lower level, having a really nice, fancy apartment. Good night, Tammy. And I think someone else was leaving.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks.
Who else was leaving? Tammy was leaving.
Firewater says she's not tired yet.
Okay. I thought someone else said they were leaving. What did I see? What did I miss? Feel better.
So what do you feel like? Are we going to keep going, or are we just going to end it here?
I don't
want to hear a goat. I want to hear your opinion.
You don't want to hear a goat? Ah. Yeah, reptiles to the core.
I want to know.
Thor was what they call men of renown.
Men of renown. Men of valor.
Reptiles.
So anyway, answer my question.
Firewire said he's from Venus. Why is all these strange people from Venus?
I don't know.
Venetian.
Yes or no? I need to know.
About what? Does it continue?
Yes.
Derek says keep going 30 more minutes. What are you going to pull up? You got anything else?
No, but I have to use the restroom.
Take a break? Well, go take a break. Yeah, Elvis is from Venus. Let's see. Tesla's from Venus. Nikola Tesla was from Venus. I mean, Elon Musk is from Venus. Tesla's from Venus. What is it about Venus? Is that another rabbit hole? It's the atmosphere on Venus. But if we go by those maps, is there a land mass called Venus? Do 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 do. So they're just saying that maybe these planets up there are those, and they're covering up their lies that they're actually here on this Earth past the ice wall. Who knows? It would not surprise me. The more we dig, the more lies we come up with. But another question is, do we really know that we're in 2025? Do we know this is actually the year, or did they lie to us? Look at the theories out there. Did they add 1,000? Did they subtract 1,000? They're definitely hiding these old world buildings. What was that empire? That was worldwide. It was not just Tartaria, because that's just around Russia. That would be a trip. Truman's show. Truman's would know. I mean, just look at all the movies. I mean, they are telling us things by the movies. Oh, now see, that's another rabbit hole, Firewater, that people are wondering if Egypt was over here in America. And also Israel. What other lies can we come up with? I mean, that would explain all the artifacts in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, more people are saying that, yeah. So the big question is, why are they lying about giants? Why are they lying about these old world buildings? Why are they lying about free energy? I don't think they're hiding this realm of people that lived in luxury just because of free energy. I think there's more to why they're hiding all this and burning the buildings down and just lying about all this. Just that's the question: is why are they lying about all this? Dum, 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 dum. I hear you.
Ta-da! So what we got going on?
Well, I'm just saying, my main question now is, why are they hiding all this? Why are they destroying evidence? What are they keeping from us? I don't
Why
think
does
it's just a free
anybody?
I don't think it's just a free energy.
Why
It's
does anybody burn or destroy anything? Because they want to
hide
hide
evidence.
their trails, hide their
Right.
evidence. Just like the Diddy and the Epstein, and they want to get rid of anything and everything they can before they get caught. Just like our government, that they're getting cleaned out and they're trying to hide their trails and what they did.
Keep us in line. Yep. All about control. Because if you keep looking at old pictures of the 1800s, they're all dressed beautifully. They're not dressed in dirty old raggedy clothes living in a hut.
That's to hide their alien bodies.
Oh my. Criminals never arrest themselves.
You got to wear corsets and all that stuff to keep those tentacles in place.
And the tight high heel shoes to keep the 3 toes in.
That's right.
Oh, we're bad. That's bad.
What else do I got in here? If we're going to keep going for a little while longer, let's see what else we got. I need to start putting these all on a hard drive.
Yeah.
In one place.
Robin says that makes sense with the corsets. Bounty hunting bear even said, best reason I've ever heard for those corsets.
I mean, if you got extra limbs and tentacles coming out, if you got 3 boobs, I mean, you got to keep that stuff all in place to look right.
Oh my gosh.
If you got web feet and duck feet, you got to have them tight high heel boots that you had to lace up and keep everything in place, and
3 toes,
dew claws, and whatever else them weirdos had going on.
Oh, T-Bone says, great shirt. Hey, this is a Temu shirt. We got that on Temu, and it looks just like our owl, doesn't it?
Owl, yeah.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, I got one, and he's got one. We got them on Temu. I don't know if they still have them, but it was real cheap. Robinson, who would know? It'll prove all these scientists and historians are full of malarkey. Well,
that's the other thing that's going to start happening is that our theories for our I don't know, the theories for energy, the theories for dynamic is all going to change, because once they start uncovering the free energy, and like we talked about the cathedrals and all that, all of our science theories and equations are going to go out the door. E equals MC squared isn't going to work anymore. And so they're going to have to actually come up with the truth about, okay, all these machines and all these free energy and cars running on water and energy from the ether is going to come out, and they're going to have to say, okay, we were lying all this time. We were trying to keep you within this border, this box.
Right.
So all of our laws of energy and everything we thought we knew is all going to change here shortly.
Maybe we'll find out that there was no dinosaurs, that those were actually dragons.
Very easily could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do we got? What do we got?
Brown Dwarf, you still in chat? Or are you in shock with the videos I sent you? Oh my goodness. What are we going to find out next week? And speaking of stuff, I mean, when is the JFK? When are these files out, or did they get released, or are we waiting for them still?
People are slowly getting them, I guess.
Oh,
And
they are slowly coming out.
supposedly, the FBI just found 2,400
I saw that somewhere.
papers all of a sudden that they didn't release before, or thought they said never existed. Now all of a sudden there's 2,400 pages on the JFK findings that
Good
they're
night,
going to
Chloe.
release.
Thank you for stopping in, Chloe. It was great to hang out with you.
Yeah, we miss you too, Chloe.
Hugs, hugs, hugs. Yeah, because I thought I saw somebody did a video about that they found more. Well, just like all the moon landing information just suddenly disappeared.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here, we talked about this earlier. I'll bring this up.
And no, I don't believe in all dragons were negative either. Look at Game of Thrones. There's good dragons and bad dragons. I think there's good and bad and everything.
Well, I want a dragon like on How to Train Your Dragon. I want toothless.
Well, my point is, the creator created a bunch of this stuff. The enemy is not a creator. He has never created anything. He has mimicked. He has done everything opposite. So he has not created the UFOs, dragons, this and this and that. He's mimicking the opposite of all this, if that makes any sense. I think there's good UFOs, there's bad UFOs. I think some are angelic, some are bad. So I don't think the enemy is a creator. He mimics everything. He twists everything around. And I don't watch television either. Carol does.
I don't watch television.
Well, not television, but you use the television for.
I probably watch more videos as far as mainstream, as far as like YouTube and Marvel movies and stuff to try to hit disclosures.
So once again, we have to deprogram in our minds. We have to get rid of what we were told we're supposed to believe in. And use your common sense, and then use to scratch your head and go, what? That don't make sense.
All right. I think we got time for another share.
Oh, that's beautiful. Aww.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She just sent me a gorgeous dragon picture with like a female elf hugging it.
Oh.
Wow. Yep, I believe in good dragons too.
All right, here we go.
Yep, the darkness cannot create, only the light can create. The darkness inverts and witches of the light. I mean, you look at everything. God created the makeup because a Jewish wedding, the bride is given, or she has to purchase this makeup kit for the wedding. But look how Satan has turned, or the enemy, whatever you want to call him, has turned around and made makeup look sleazy and bad and dirty. Yeah, I've seen that picture before.
Yep. So we talked about the serpent mounds. And obviously, you got the tail and you got it winding all the way through, all the way up to the head.
And this is in what state?
Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, I thought it was Ohio.
So right over here, there's a embankment or like a valley or a hill. This is up on a hill. And right over on this side somewhere, there is an obelisk.
Oh, really?
That nobody knows about.
What?
That right now it's laying on the ground. It used to be up here at a point. It used to be up here at a point, and they dumped it over into this ditch or I guess a ravine would be a better explanation. A ravine.
Can you see it if you zoom in? Or can
Well,
you only see it
not
if
on
you're
this
there?
tablet, but somewhere I have pictures of it. So on the other computer or whatever, I have pictures of it.
Oh my goodness.
So, also,
how long is that? Do you know how many miles or whatever that is?
yeah,
I know it's big. It's huge.
it tells you how many feet it is from one end to the other and how much is in between these. So if you look at this, where this obelisk should be, or the point of viewing,
Oh,
you have the summer solstice, you have the spring and autumn equinox, so you have the winter solstice that line up right with these serpent.
interesting. Huh.
Then if you go,
Do you know what the obelisk is made out of?
oh, it's stone. It's just like it's granite or whatever they use for like the Egyptian ones. Where's the other one?
Because I'll throw something out there for you, chat. If we're looking at this old world, we looked at how people were dressed way back in the day. What about all the crystals and gemstones and amethyst, rose quartz, and all that? You really think it came from this earth, or could it just be remnants from this gorgeous era that had these amazing buildings? And they probably had amethyst and rose quartz and this and this and this and that, and super hot mud flood or whatever happened, destroyed things, and that's how it got into the earth. Just a thought. Just a thought.
So if you look at this, not only does it tell you the solstice, but the humps tell you time on how long the moons lasted and when they lasted, and you go by the seasons. And then if you go by the links and the curves, if you go, it's actual also like a calendar of eras and times of these civilizations that occurred. So not only is it to map out the moons and the solstice and stuff, but there's also supposedly oral history or from these civilizations that talk about when you start at one bend and go through their history. It's also like a calendar of their civilizations that have been there and present. But I'll have to bring that up too. When we start digging into this one, when we get to it, when we talk about maps and stuff, I got pictures of what the obelisk looked like and people that's actually went down in there and found it, and it still exists. It's still there. It's just not where it's supposed to be, and it's not on the location it's supposed to be, but it's still there. And that's the point where you can see this, where it's supposed to be, where you can view the solstices and the moons and summers. And
look how many of these places around the whole world line up with the solstices.
Yeah, you got Stonehenge. Even the Georgia Guidestones lined up with astronomical events.
Wow.
If you looked at that, what's is really weird, that's another flat earth weird thing. You know, they say that we're revolving around the sun and our universe and our galaxies are evolving and going through time. But if you looked when the Georgia Guidestones were up, there's a slit in one of them, and you had a viewing point that you can look through, and you could always see the North Star. That you can see Polaris through that slit, no matter what time, what day. That was always in that slit.
Wow.
So how do you explain that if everything's revolving and moving and
We're flying through space. I'm not buying we're flying through space because all of these constellations have not changed all these years. The constellations are still the same. So there's no way everything is flying through space at the same speed. I'm not buying that either. I don't know. I mean, I watched the Big Dipper go in a circle. It's going in a circle.
so I don't know. You know, it's a lot of weird stuff.
It would also explain the gold rush. That if it was that hot of a fire or heat that liquefied the ground, melded cement buildings to the point of almost not even seeing that they existed. It melted gold, and that's why there was chunks of gold all over there collecting. They knew darn well there was gold in the ground. A lot of those buildings had gold tips and stuff. We're a giant Christmas ornament. We might be a Christmas ornament. Who knows? What is the truth out of all of this?
I don't know.
And most of the time, your gut is right. Your instincts is right. Your common sense is right. So what you finding now?
I don't know. Just looking for anything that we might want to talk about. Since I don't know how long we're going to go, but
I'd say, well, half an hour is about 2 minutes. Which we'll start wrapping it up. Get a snack before bed. Dwarfy will probably come on. That's one reason why I was late getting to bed last night.
oh,
Dwarfy came on real late. And I was just lurking. I knew I was getting ready to go to bed.
we were talking about history books and stuff earlier, so I got one more that I'll bring up before we go.
Dum, dum, dum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and T-Bone, email us again. Let us know about that order if we have to actually call them and
Straighten it out, or if it
straighten
didn't,
it out.
maybe it didn't go through on your end, or maybe you ordered and it got lost. But we did not get any notification.
So you should have an order number, that we actually need when we call them and get it straightened out. I can check that right now, I guess. Orders. No, I mean, we would have gotten a notification. No. Last one was January 2nd. That was Daryl.
Daryl.
My name is Daryl. I'm not Bigfoot.
My name is Daryl.
Bigfoot. My name is Daryl.
So here is another section out of old encyclopedia, History of the World. It says the New World, dimly comprehended by Europeans, afforded materials for wonderful narratives concerning inhabitants and productions. The few natives who were found upon the seaboard had all the characteristics common to the human race. The interior of the continent was a deep mystery, and for a long time, marvelous stories were related and believed of nations of giants and pygmies, of people with one eye, and that the center of in the center of the forehead,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole tribes who existed without eating.
I think wasn't Jessica just talking about the Cyclops the other day?
Yeah,
Somebody was. Yeah, somebody was talking about the Cyclops, the one-eyed things.
but when the sober men penetrated the forest and became acquainted with the inhabitants, and it was discovered that from the Gulf of Mexico to the country north, the chain of Great Lakes, which divided the United States and British possessions, the people were not remarkable in persons and qualities, and the great similarity in manners and instructions prevailed over the whole existence of the country. But I have a PDF of a early re-encounting of all the discoverers, like all the early explorers that mapped out all these, the U.S., North America, South America, and all that, and Cortez and all them. Well, there was one that came from Spain. He was 7 years old when his family moved to South America, and Aztecs that were there at the time really came to know this boy as he grew up. And over time, they told him their oral history, and they talked about the giants that were there when they came to the land in existence. There was two people. There were the ones that were there before them that were normal or almost normal, the Olmecs, and then there were the giants. So the Olmecs and the Aztecs got together and chased the giants out, and they ventured up from South America into Mexico, and then to the United States, which is first of all California and the Mississippi Valley, and up where you found all the giants in the caves up there. So they all came from that area down in South America. So there's a legend of 6 giants that spread out through the whole North America and some parts of the other parts of the world, that how the giants were able to spread out. And all the explorers, if you look at their accounts where they met giants, it was one of those 6 giants that each one of them met, depending on where they went across the world.
We have to listen to these old folklores and stuff. I mean, I think there's a lot more truth behind a lot of these that they're saying they're myths and legends.
This was a handwritten account by this Spaniard that grew up in the world of the Aztecs before they were dissipated or whatever happened to them. And I have a PDF of it. I have it in the original language, which I can't read, but I have it also in English translation with all the original artwork. So we'll do a show on that one of these days and read the story about what he said or they told him about the giants and how they moved about.
And Derek says, and yes, we do have a Discord, Derek. Have you all thought of getting a Discord server? Which we do have Discord. You can do movie watch parties on there also and video live discussion. So if we ever do get in trouble by Rumble, that could be another option in the future.
Yeah, we have a Discord. We usually connect with other people through Discord, but we haven't really set up the channel as far as
we haven't really done anything
our
with it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So no, we haven't done that yet.
We're there. We just haven't really done anything on it.
But we have people like Brown Dwarf and other people on it. Andy from Alienate UK, he has a Discord, so we're connected through him on our Discord, and some other people, some other content creators that we know.
So yeah, you can find us over there on Discord.
Hey, Firewater said she was actually feeling tired.
Yeah. Maybe
Wow.
she'll get a good night's sleep tonight. And then they're talking about purple people eaters.
Yeah, Purple People Eaters.
Flying Purple People Eaters.
That was a big song growing up.
Oh, yeah. There's probably something horrible behind that.
One-eyed one.
Yeah, but not just that. It's probably in the verses. There's probably, you got to read the lyrics of what is in that song. Probably some kind of a program song. So on that note,
I guess we'll say adios.
we should probably stop and
We'll see you guys next time, I guess. Well,
either are we doing what night are we doing movie night, you know?
I don't know. Well, it just depends. We might do Friday, we might do Saturday, we might do both.
So
I don't know. It just depends on what's going on. I got plenty of content to do on both nights, but it just depends.
Okay, well, find us on Rumble, and we'll probably you'll get the notification that we went live on Rumble for movie night. Now, we had quite a few people over there the other night.
I don't know if
I've been sleeping like a baby since I've come home. Oh, well, that's good. That's healing for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love each and every.
Nothing like getting back in the surroundings and.
Yeah. Being in your jammies. So on that note, we love you guys. You are family. You're not just supporters or followers or subscribers. You guys are family and very close friends to us, and we really appreciate you. Hey, Brown Dwarf, let me know what you think after you watch those 2 videos.
So we love you all, just like Jane was saying. We appreciate you. We love hanging out with you. That's why we do these Wednesday nights, so we can talk to you guys directly, because a lot of times when we have people or guests on our shows or we're on other people's shows, we don't really have the personal contact like we do tonight, where we can read your chats and hang out and bounce ideas off of each other. And so we really enjoy this time. So that's why we do these Wednesday nights.
Yep, we enjoy this.
And we're doing our creepy movie on Friday, Saturdays, just because we enjoy the content of the old monster movies and sci-fi things. And a lot of times there's neat disclosures in those movies that, people don't go back and look at to say, well, they said that in 1940, 1950.
I know.
They said that then. Yeah. I thought that was made up. No, that's what's happening now.
We overlooked so much. So much.
I mean, go back and look at your Saturday morning cartoons growing up. See what really they were saying during those too, whether it was Sigmund the Sea Monster or Super Friends or Groovy Ghoulies. If anybody remembers Groovy Ghoulies or HR Puffin stuff, go back and look at those and see what they were saying, what they were actually
HR Puffin stuff. He was
saying to us.
Oh my gosh. Yep. I mean, like I said, they planned all this out. They planned to use television as a vision and program us and mind control us and subliminal message us and all of the above.
So anyway, we'll see you guys on movie night, hopefully. So
yep,
that'll be the next time we're on. We'll either be a Friday, Saturday, or both. I don't know. It might be both. We did 3 nights last week, so maybe we'll do 2 nights this week. I don't know.
And we'll be back Sunday with our guest.
Yes,
we'll be talking about jellyfish, UFOs, and strange things. He was the one that talked about mushrooms, and no, not edible mushrooms. We're talking about mushrooms and their connection with Mother Earth and the trees and connected to Sasquatch. And so now this is the second time he'll be back. And we're going to continue with jellyfish.
Jellyfish UFOs.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Keep looking up.
And keep your vibrations high. Stay away from fear and keep going down these rabbit holes to find out the truth.
Please give us a like and a share before you leave, or a comment after the show. You know how it goes with the analytics. Try to get us out there. And if you can, suggest us to a friend. Otherwise, we'll just keep hanging out with you guys because we love you all. Good night, everyone.
Good night.